Mayor Pro Tem Brightigam
Here.
and Mayor Klopfenstein.
Here. We will now move into invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Our invocation this evening will be led by Assistant City Manager Matt West, and if our Mayor Pro Tem George Brightigam could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Thank you. Please prepare yourself according to your faith. Dear Lord, as we gather for this evening's meeting, let us come together with a shared sense of purpose and a commitment to serve our community well. May we approach the work before us with grace, patience, and humility. And may we listen with open minds, speak with respect, and recognize the value of the many perspectives represented here. And may our words be thoughtful, our dialogue constructive, and our decisions guided by wisdom, fairness, and a genuine concern for the common good. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Everyone face the flag, hand over your heart, begin.
Okay, before presentation number one, I'd like to pull consent item number 5, if I could get a motion.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
Motion received, 7 yes votes. Motion carries.
All right, and then with that, we will go to presentation item number 1.
This evening, presentation number 1 is a community spotlight in recognition of the 2026 Garden Grove Strawberry Ball King and Queen and Senior Volunteer Man and Woman of the Year. JJ Jaguari and Dr. Don Miller are here for the community spotlight, and Assistant City Manager will provide that community spotlight.
Yes, thank you. This evening, the Garden Grove City Council is proud to recognize 2 outstanding individuals whose spirit of service has made a lasting impact on the Garden Grove community. Their dedication has earned them the distinction of being named the 2026 Garden Grove Strawberry Ball King and Queen and Senior Volunteer Man and Woman of the Year from the city's H. Lewis Lake Senior Center. At this time, I'd like to invite up JJ and Dr. Don Miller. Every year, the city's H. Lewis Lake Senior Center hosts the Strawberry Ball to honor the newly selected Strawberry Ball King and Queen and recognize their outstanding commitment to volunteerism and community service. It is the city's privilege to honor these 2 exceptional individuals, and I'd like to begin with JJ. JJ owned Azteca Mexican restaurant in Garden Grove from 1992 to 2014, where he built lasting relationships in the community while creating a welcoming gathering place for families and friends. He currently serves as a board member of the Garden Grove Chamber of Commerce and is president-elect for the Garden Grove Rotary Club, where he actively supports charitable events, service projects, and community initiatives. JJ is also an active member of the Garden Grove Elks Lodge and has volunteered as a Meals on Wheels driver through the Senior Center since 2023. Next, we have Dr. Don Miller. Dr. Don Miller is an optometrist and owner of Don M. Miller OD and Associates in Garden Grove. Throughout her career, she has served as president of the Orange County Optometric Society, the California Optometric Association, and the Great Western Council of Optometry. For more than 40 years, Dr. Miller has dedicated her time, leadership, and energy to the Boys and Girls Club of Garden Grove and the Garden Grove Strawberry Festival Association. She served as president of both organizations during the 1996 to 1997 term and the 2018 to 2019 term, and she currently serves as chair-elect of the Boys and Girls Club of Garden Grove. Dr. Miller was also recognized as the California Optometrist of the Year in 2015 and was named the Garden Grove Chamber of Commerce Woman of the Year in 2019. At this time, the mayor and city council would like to present JJ and Dr. Don Miller with a resolution honoring their selection as the 2026 Garden Grove Strawberry Ball King and Queen and Senior Volunteer Man and Woman of the Year. Congratulations.
You guys gotta come in here. In the horseshoe.
chair back up. All right, that will take us into presentation number 2 this evening.
Item number 2 is the Community Spotlight in recognition of the Garden Grove Strawberry Festival Association, and Assistant City Manager Matt West will read that Community Spotlight.
Yes, next, the Garden Grove City Council is proud to recognize a devoted group of individuals who have played a significant role in organizing, planning, and making this year's Garden Grove Strawberry Festival possible. At this time, I'd like to invite up President Steve Sanders of the Garden Grove Strawberry Festival Association, along with other members who have joined him here tonight. The Garden Grove Strawberry Festival Association is a nonprofit organization dedicated to raising funds for local organizations that provide services to children, youth, seniors, and the arts. For 66 years, community leaders volunteered hundreds of hours to plan and coordinate the Garden Grove Strawberry Festival. Thanks to the incredible generosity of festival attendees and sponsors last year, approximately $150,000 was donated to a group of nonprofit organizations whose programs directly benefit residents of Garden Grove and the surrounding communities. This year's theme was celebrating our nation's 250th anniversary, and thousands of people attended the 4-day festival over Memorial Day weekend. The Garden Grove Strawberry Festival also held its Special Kids Day, when the festival opened a day early to children with special needs, offering free entertainment, food, and rides, where approximately 1,500 children attended the event. The Friday opening of ceremony included the distribution of free strawberry cake, a performance of God Bless America by the Boys and Girls Club of Garden Grove, and the national anthem performed by Jake Burnett. We are grateful for the association's continued commitment to bringing people together and supporting local organizations. At this time, the mayor and city council would like to present the Garden Grove Strawberry Festival Association with a gift in appreciation and recognition of their tireless efforts in organizing and making the 2026 Garden Grove Strawberry Festival possible. Thank you.
Thank you. May I say something? Yes, of course. First, on behalf of the Strawberry Festival Association, I would like to thank the city manager, the assistant city manager, the police chief, the mayor, Councilman Bridingham, for staying in contact with us, and specifically me during the incident out at Western. You made it possible for us to continue with our tradition, 66 years in our community here. And without that communication, we would not have been able to do that. So we thank you for allowing us to continue to be part of the community.
One, two, three. One, two,
See you, Scott. Okay. All right, that will take us into oral communications. And as we open oral communication, I'd like to announce this evening we introduced the remote participation feature as part of Senate Bill 707 requirements, providing more ways for the community to participate at public meetings. I ask that the public be patient as you wait to be called on, and be patient with this new process as our team works through any technical issues. We ask that you keep your public comments respectful and within 2-minute time limit. Any person making impertinent, slanderous, or profane remarks, or who becomes boisterous while addressing the city council, will be called to order. If the conduct continues, you'll be barred from addressing the city council any further and removed from the meeting or remote participation. The city clerk will now provide instructions for remote participants.
Oral communications is the time for general public comments to address the city council and the successor agency heard simultaneously. If you are joining the meeting through the Zoom app, virtually raise your hand at this time. You will be called by name when it is your turn to speak, and you will be prompted to unmute your microphone on your device. You must click unmute. Please identify the agenda item you are commenting on, then proceed with your comment. You will have 2 minutes. If you are joining the meeting by telephone, you may request to speak by dialing *9 from your phone. You will be called by either the last 3 digits of your phone number or your caller ID. You must dial *6 to unmute. Please state your name and the agenda item you are commenting on, then proceed with your comments. You will have 2 minutes. Please note that at this time, we will begin with in-person speakers, followed by remote participants. First speaker, Zuri Rashad. After Zuri, we have Leonard De La Rosa, and after Leonard will be Mary Nguyen. Zuri Rashad.
Hello, my name is Zuri Rashad. I am a PhD candidate in chemical and biomolecular engineering at UC Irvine. To the city council members and the mayor of Garden Grove, I come to you again to address the hazardous chemical spill that occurred on Thursday, May 21st, which was a result of the deliberate negligence of GKN Aerospace. While hundreds of people were celebrating the Garden Grove Strawberry Festival, thousands more had to evacuate as a result of this incident. The presence of methyl methacrylate evaporating in the air causes respiratory illnesses for surrounding citizens, which leads to a greater burden on the health services the city provides. Additionally, the standard manufacturing process of the aircraft canopy windows that GKN makes requires heating MMA to nearly 100 degrees Celsius. So even on a standard day when it's not about to explode, it still poses a risk to the surrounding residents. My proposal as a response to this environmental disaster would be for GKN Aerospace to compensate citizens who were forced to evacuate, pay for all healthcare needs that result from this incident, and remove the facility from the city so that future incidents cannot happen again. The existence of this military contractor in Garden Grove is a persistent danger to both our residents here and our neighbors abroad, and we should not continue allowing weapons of war to be manufactured in our name. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, Mayor, Council Member. My name is Leonard De La Rosa. I'm a representative with the Western States Regional Council of Carpenters. I represent members in the city of Garden Grove and surrounding areas in Orange County. I'm here regarding the on-call contract services contract that was awarded recently. Garden Grove residents deserve safe, accessible, and durable public infrastructure without unnecessary delays or expenses. The city has already completed a procurement process, and trained and workforce ready is prepared to begin delivering these improvements. Repeating the process would only consume additional public resources and delay the services, directly improving residents' safety, mobility, and quality of life. Our members are trained and provide high-quality craftsmanship and fair value to taxpayers, while earning wages that allow the working families to live in the community they build. We encourage the city to use the ready workforce available to move forward with the project improvements. Thank you.
Mary Nguyen. Following Mary Nguyen, we have John Schaefer, then Jamie Sanders, and Selena Q. Mary Nguyen, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Mary Nguyen, and I am with the California Healthy Nelson Collaborative, a statewide grassroots organization that works closely with the Vietnamese population in the affected areas of the chemical crisis and that has supported our Vietnamese community with up-to-date, timely, in-language information about the chemical crisis. It has been 3 months since the evacuation order was lifted and the crisis was averted, with no actions or plans in place to hold GKN accountable for harming our communities. GKN should not be operating in close proximity to schools and residential communities, especially after recently being threatened by a potential chemical explosion in May. According to NBC-LA, in November 2020, South Coast Air Quality Management District found that GKN had violated environmental regulations and even had some of the chemicals being used in manufacturing go beyond what had been specifically allowed in permits, and that GKN had allowed other chemical emissions that exceeded what's allowed under the law. GKN was also cited for failing to keep complete records and failing to get permits for some equipment or procedures. How can we feel safe when there have been records of their negligence to safety regulations and protocol? We are extremely disappointed by the delays in the city taking actions against GKN for the community. We demand the City Council to, 1, make GKN pay reparations to impacted community members for all the damage, health impacts, inconvenience, and fear inflicted. 2, implement a moratorium now to prevent any expansions for facilities like GKN. And 3, shut down GKN so that there will never be a chemical crisis in the community again. Thank you.
As a creative, I have learned to give compliments before critiques, and while I support and agree with what has been said about GKN, I also want to thank you for the way you guys handled it. I felt safe, and it was resolved very quickly, so I appreciate that. Now a critique. I live near Walmart, kind of, on Gilbert and Chapman area, and there is a sewer drug gang that lives there that has been causing havoc in my neighborhood. I presented a couple weeks ago prior to the GKN apocalypse, and I asked for a sewer grate to be put over the drain. I then communicated with the flood control supervisor, who told me that option had been considered and was rejected because of liability issues. I did a bit of research. I found out if you angle the grate, then it isn't a drowning risk anymore. It then will shoot people up to the surface where they don't drown. On top of that, it is the continuation of things as they are does remain a liability for the city, in that officers have to go down there where their radios don't function as well because the sides of the aqueduct work as a Faraday cage. And I respect officers. I respect the trust they put in us as a community, and I don't think that putting their lives in danger unnecessarily is a good plan. On top of that, while the GKN apocalypse was happening, the sewer drug gang rose up out of the sewer, broke into houses, and then disappeared before the police could find them again into the sewers. And the only way to stop that is to have grates where they live, preventing them from getting down there at all. And they'll relocate, but not in the sewers anymore. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Jamie Sanders. After Jamie Sanders, we have Celine Q. After Celine, we have Sophia A. And following Sophia, we will have Jeremiah Acosta. Jamie Sanders, go.
Good evening, City Council members and Mayor. I'm back again. I wanted to talk to Garden Grove about the city ordering a mandatory spay and neuter ordinance. It's just one of the remaining things that the city could put into place that would couple with the amazing TNR program, which makes this city stand out. At least 28 cities in the LA County is mandatory spay and neuter, and also many of the cities that surround Garden Grove are also mandatory spay and neuter. The shelter that we have in our city, Orange County Humane Society, struggles with so many animals, and right now adoptions are so low and don't take place very often. It's very difficult to adopt out adult dogs and cats. But right now, the puppies and kittens that are being handed out this month will be next year's shelter intake and ultimately euthanasia number. So I think that if we could go ahead and add that into the laws, we could then, your animal control officers could enforce it as needed. Plus, it would add to the revenue for the city because there's a lot of low-cost spay and neuter vet offices in the city that people could take their animals to. There's plenty of exemptions that most cities have, for example, working animals, senior pets, health conditions that could exempt it, but right now most cities require dogs and cats 4 or 6 months and older to be mandatory spay and neuter. So the cost alone to euthanize the animals in the city of Garden Grove, which that will be my next presentation for animals that get euthanized in our city, I really think we could save a lot of money on our tax dollars if we could mandate spay and neuter, notify our community that this is a law now and it's required, and then we could save animals.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi again, everyone. My name is Celine. I'm a member of the local Palestinian and Muslim community. It has been more than 2 months since the GKN chemical crisis, and our community still has not seen meaningful action from this city. Every week, we've been knocking on doors and talking with residents. People still have basic unanswered questions. What are the health impacts? How do we know if our families are actually safe? Who will compensate families and workers? And what is the city doing to make sure this never happens again? As we said before, the city has the power and the responsibility to act. You have the authority over land use, over zoning, and whether hazardous facilities are allowed to expand in our neighborhoods. What happened in May wasn't the first warning. The OC Register reported that in 2023, roughly 200 gallons of MMA overflowed at the same facility. That same year, GKN had a chemical fire. There have been inspections of documented leaks and hazardous material handling problems, and compliance issues have been documented for years. And despite all this, GKN was not only allowed to keep operating, but it has been allowed to expand. So when tens of thousands of people were evacuated this May, it didn't come out of nowhere. This is a documented pattern of environmental, workplace, and safety problems. A moratorium should have been implemented a long time ago. In LA, just this past week, after the Lineage Warehouse disaster, Mayor Karen Bass signed an emergency EO directing the city to stop rebuilding plans and called for a moratorium on similar facilities. So this is well within the city's power to do. What we need is a moratorium. Removing MMA from a few tanks does not make GKN safe. It's not the only hazardous chemical they use. We need a moratorium on existing, expanding, and new military manufacturing facilities. We need to stop GKN's expansion, and all the people that have elected you in this room have been demanding time and time again to shut down GKN, to stop the expansion, to implement a moratorium now, and you can make the choice if you're gonna respond to these people who have been showing up week after week at every city council meeting except the last 2 that were canceled, despite the fact that people have not yet received answers. So we are asking you to respond to our demands and tell us why this has been stalled for so long. We want a moratorium now.
Sophia A. Sophia A., go ahead, next speaker.
Hello, my name is Sophia. I'm a Palestinian Garden Grove resident. And like many others here, I've been attending each city council meeting since the chemical crisis began. And like many others here, I'm very disappointed with what we've seen since then. How you all have acted in response to the chemical crisis is shameful. It's been more than 2 months and you've done nothing. You've spent 7 weeks on break while your community suffered the effects of this crisis with no meaningful action or answers. Now you've all come back from this break and the chemical crisis isn't even on the agenda. It's a slap in the face to your constituents, and your constituents have started doing your job and are uncovering more and more alarming details of GKN's history of recklessness each day that you put this off. I love Garden Grove. I used to be proud to say that I'm from this city, but now I'm embarrassed. All of you, the city council, not only put my community here in Garden Grove in danger each and every day that you don't act, but you not acting on this also makes our city complicit in the genocide of the Palestinian people, of our community's people. We demand that today the city council brings forward an emergency ordinance to halt the expansion and permits of GKN and enact a buffer zone near residential neighborhoods for any new development of these types of facilities. Everyone in the room is demanding this, and everyone here knows that you all have the power to do this. And the way that you all react and respond to this and your stance on this is going to be remembered in November when you guys are up for re-elections. And we're not going to forget what each of and every one of your responses is for this for years to come. And this will be in the history books.
Next speaker, Jeremiah Acosta. Jeremiah Acosta.
Hello, my name is Jeremiah. I'm a resident from Cyprus that was affected by the chemical leak. I stand before you, elected officials, elected by the people to serve the people, not a corporation that prioritizes profits over people, not a corporation that puts your constituents' lives at risk, not a corporation that is complicit in genocide and international war crimes, not a corporation that does this at the expense of your constituents with their tax dollars that could be reinvested into the community, back into the people. So I ask you to have a heart, to have a conscience, and to do the job that you were elected to do. I ask you to stick to the positions that you have, because as we've seen around the country, there are candidates that will fight for the people that will come for your jobs. So I ask you to wake up, do your job, because just as easily as we elected you into power, we can elect you out. Free Palestine.
Next speaker, Dalal. Dalal A. Carlos will be following Dalal. Following Carlos, we will have Dwight Hua. Following Dwight will be Nadia A.
Hello, my name is Dalal, and I live in Buena Park, and I'm a part of the Palestinian community. I am here today, along with many others, to demand that the City Council not only listen, but heed the community's demands in imposing an immediate moratorium on GKN. I honestly cannot even say I'm surprised that this issue isn't even on the agenda with the way you've been moving as City Council. This is shameful, and you should not be allowed to keep your seats while actively doing nothing to heed your constituents' demands. You need to remember who you are here to serve, the people. And yet, you continue to cater to a company who has literally been a poison to your community. You should be just as outraged as we are. For months, the people have been demanding that something be done. The more that you drag your feet, the more that ours will stand firm. Time will not make us forget or forgive. You cannot sit on your hands and wait us out. It will not work. This company has a history of negligence and has proven time and time again that they prioritize profit over people. They not only put an immediate community in danger, but others across the globe. It is not a secret that GKN is not only guilty of a hazardous chemical spill, but also manufactures transparency canopies that go on top of the F-35 jets that Israel uses to drop bombs and commit genocide in Gaza. This should not be allowed to exist in our community. A community with families, children, elderly, hardworking individuals who should never have to worry about being evacuated from their homes, who shouldn't have to worry about how this will affect their health, affect their finances. Local businesses should never have to worry about losing money because of GKN's reckless acts. Because let me make this clear, a petty buyout is not how they are held accountable. We know that money is not reaching the majority of people who need it and did not account for local businesses also affected. GKN is not the only one who needs to be held accountable. We know what powers you have, and you also hold accountability to never allow this to happen ever again. We need an immediate moratorium now.
Carlos.
Good evening, Garden Grove Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Carlos Perea. I'm the Executive Director of the Harbor Institute for Immigrant and Economic Justice. I'm glad to see you all back at work again, as so are many of the residents that have been waiting to speak with you regarding the chemical incident that almost displaced 40,000 residents in your city and nearby cities. So I hope that you don't forget that the urgency at the moment that took place at that time was a serious concern. Now, many of the residents have been speaking to you over the last 2 months regarding the urgency for you to act, regarding the urgency for you to truly make GKN accountable. And I'm here to remind you that you have power as a city council within your zoning laws, within your regulations, to ensure that no more of these facilities that are hazardous, toxic, and also dangerous are nearby residential areas and schools. Let me also remind you that the city got lucky. The tank cracked. You all got lucky from a big environmental disaster. That was just luck. And I'm glad it was, because so much was at stake. Now, many residents are waking up to the fact that their houses might lose valuation because they're close to these facilities. So I'm asking you, roll up your sleeves, use your legislative power, issue a moratorium now on these facilities and expansion, and rezone that land. That land cannot be nearby schools anymore or residents. Thank you.
Dwight Hua.
Good evening, City Council and Mayor Klopfenstein. My name is Dwight Hua. I'm a District 1 resident of Garden Grove who had to evacuate during the GKN chemical crisis, as well as the youth programs coordinator at Be It Rise. As an affected resident, I am disappointed and frustrated. First, why is there not a single agenda item tonight about GKN and the chemical crisis? In addition, the City Council has canceled both of its scheduled July meetings while our community continues to demand answers and bold action for this crisis. Whatever the reason for the cancellations, the result has been the same. Residents have gone weeks without a regular City Council meeting, while GKN has been allowed to move forward as business as usual, and we have waited long enough. Garden Grove has shown no urgency, no initiative in addressing these concerns or similar catastrophes in the future. GKN and other military facilities are time bombs in Garden Grove, and there are bombs abroad displacing families here and across the globe. As a reminder, this crisis cannot be separated from what GKN is producing in Garden Grove. GKN Aerospace manufactures F-35 transparency canopies at this very facility and has announced plans to double this production by 2027. And the research shows that the expansion comes amid shortages of these canopies and increased demand from Lockheed Martin. And instead of asking whether the hazardous military production should be expanding next to our homes, the city continued to approve GKN's expansion, including permits issued just 2 days before the chemical crisis. The city needs to take bold action. The latest announcement of the compensation program is just an attempt to buy GKN Aerospace more time to stall actual accountability. And the City Council and the facility owners know that the residents want GKN out of Garden Grove. Stop throwing us crumbs. It isn't just MMM out, it's GKN out. Removing one chemical does not erase the history of the violation. There needs to be action now and pass a moratorium now. Thank you.
Next speaker, Nadia A. Following Nadia, we will have Bilal. Following Bilal, we have Rema. And following Rema, we have Remo. Nadia A., go ahead.
My name is Nadia, and I'm a resident of Buena Park and a member of the Palestinian community. It's been over 2 months since GKN's chemical disaster. Over 2 months, and the city has failed miserably to take action against GKN's reckless operations. It is no secret, we've told you time and time again at these meetings that GKN has a history of violations going back as far as the early 2010s. The city of Garden Grove even issued an expansion permit for GKN just days before this chemical crisis began. This chemical crisis, as you've heard many times before, has displaced thousands of your constituents. People lost wages, it impacted their health and well-being, and yet you are all here, sitting on your hands, and there is still no action taken. GKN is unfit to operate, period, not just in Garden Grove, period. It's not a matter of if another crisis will occur, it's a matter of when. The people of this community shouldn't have to wonder if their elected officials are gonna stand up and take action to defend their livelihood, to defend their well-being, their lost wages, their health, and all of that. GKN is a threat to our community and a threat to the people of the world. Manufacturing weapons components like the transparency canopies for F-35 fighter jets that Israel uses to bomb and kill people in Gaza, Iran, and Lebanon and across the region. Allowing GKN to operate here in Garden Grove makes you complicit in the genocide of the Palestinian people. This city council continues to prioritize profit over the people you were elected to serve. It's actually ridiculous. Your negligence is nothing more than disgusting and unacceptable. I've heard many of you say you want to hold GKN accountable, so do it. The city of Garden Grove must adopt an immediate moratorium on existing, expanding, and new military manufacturing facilities to never allow this to happen again. So long as you continue to serve the interests of war profiteers, we will continue to show up every single time you hold these meetings until our demands are met.
Next speaker, Bilal.
Good evening, council members. My name is Bilal, and I'm here to strongly urge this council to bring forward an emergency ordinance to halt expansion and permits of GKN and enact a buffer zone near residential neighborhoods for any new developments of these types of facilities. During the first emergency meeting held after the crisis, you all said that a moratorium discussion, it was delayed and you needed more info. What more info do you need? This company is still allowed to operate and expand when it's subject to multiple federal investigations. The MMA tanks haven't been fully disposed of, and our community has no reassurances that the mistakes that led to this have been addressed, let alone identified. We heard from previous meetings from a GKN rep where they failed to make any concrete commitments to address or resolve this or take any accountability for the harm that they inflicted on this community. But all of us are on the same page that it must be held to account. Garden Grove is home to a rich and diverse community, including Arab and Palestinian communities. And these communities had to deal not only with the evacuation, but also with the fact that they are being subjected to this because this company fuels the war machine that murders their family members and their people. GKN can't be trusted to hold themselves accountable. The question is whether you, council members, will do so. So either hold GKN accountable or your community will hold you accountable. Moratorium now. Thank you.
Rayma.
Good evening, council members. My name is Rahma, and I'm a member of the Arab community here in Garden Grove. You may recognize my face along with some of the other community members in this room, since we have been attending nearly every single city council meeting that has happened since the GKN crisis started. And for over 10 weeks now, we've all been asking the council to do the same thing, to take action to hold GKN accountable. And we can't sit here and lament the fact that GKN refuses to hold themselves accountable, because we know they already won't. And in fact, a former GKN employee told the OC Register, and I quote, "When there was a complaint, it felt like they just brushed it off. They would do everything they could to stay open versus take care of the problem. It was always the culture of nobody's gonna do nothing." So is the city gonna validate this culture, or are we gonna challenge it? We need real accountability, and yes, of course, this means compensating the residents, workers, and businesses that had to pay for this disaster and the evacuations and everything that ensued. But compensation alone is merely a Band-Aid solution, because if GKN's expansion is allowed to move forward, and if they are allowed to continue operating in our backyards, then it is only a matter of time when our community will have to face yet another health crisis or an environmental crisis. And this is not just a cynical speculation, but rather exactly what we should expect from a company that has such a long documented history of regulatory noncompliance and delayed ratification for various violations. And this risk, we can only presume, will continue to increase as they move forward with their expansion to double F-35 component production that is being used in war abroad. And so again, today, you have the responsibility and you have the power to stop this from happening. And we're all here today to ask you to do so. You have the power now, and so we ask you to use it to impose a moratorium, stop the expansion, and kick GKN out of our city. Thank you.
Remo?
My name is Remo. I'm a member of the Palestinian Youth Movement, and I work in Garden Grove. The weekend that the GKN aerospace chemical crisis forced 50,000 people to evacuate their homes, if you'll remember, kids were just getting out of school. The high school graduates across the street were sending their students into an uncertain future. At that very first meeting, you all told us that we would have to wait until the end of June to hear whether you thought that a moratorium was necessary to protect the people of Garden Grove. Well, school's been out for 2 months, and I'm worried that the Garden Grove City Council has learned nothing. I'm worried that the hard lessons that we had to learn that weekend have gone right over your heads. And in a few weeks from now, we're going to be sending Garden Grove students back to school right next to a ticking time bomb, just like nothing ever happened. And I feel like I'm going crazy. I thought that I was going to see a moratorium on the agenda today, like the city manager promised on the record back in May. And I'm disappointed to see that you no longer seem interested in taking basic action to protect the citizens of Garden Grove and to prevent another chemical disaster here. For your performance this summer, you were on the verge of getting a failing grade. A moratorium will get you a C. Rejecting GKN's ridiculous plans for expanding their explosive military chemical facility will bump that grade up to a B. But the only way to score an A is to grow a spine, stand up for your constituents, and kick GKN out of Garden Grove. As Sophia said, this moment is going down in Garden Grove history. And if you've studied the history of GKN's labor, environmental, and safety regulations, you would know that shutting them down is the only way forward. Council members, school is back in session. Let's see if you make it past November.
Next speakers will be Dylan De Guzman. Following Dylan, we have Ray Regalado. And following Ray, we have Andres Rubio. Dylan?
Good evening, City Council. My name is Dylan. I'm a member of Anak Bayan, a Filipino youth organization fighting for the rights of Filipinos, and I've lived in Garden Grove for 7 years. Because the last 2 City Council meetings were canceled last minute, it has been 7 weeks that Garden Grove residents were denied the opportunity to share the impacts on our community. While the City Council was on summer recess, it was our community members, our organizations who went to neighborhoods to hear the stories of those affected. One family had a daughter going to Wakeham Elementary, the school behind the GKN facility. And as of yesterday, their family, along with many others in Garden Grove Unified, dropped off their kids for the start of another school year. And their main question was, how was their daughter or any other kids expected to focus on learning when GKN was right there? We met families at the mobile homes whose eyes and throats were burning, who were hacking and coughing with no updates on what were the long-term effects on their health. And we met families who lost thousands of dollars. And despite the mutual aid fund that ran out in 2 weeks and the current claims program for residents to file for compensation, they did not have any information on how they should ask for it. And they do not deserve to go down the rabbit hole of filling out forms and waiting indefinitely. What seems to be the trend is that despite returning to business as usual and operations resuming at GKN and the City Council not formally addressing the incident today on the agenda, so much of our community still do not feel safe. This crisis began almost 3 months ago. How much longer do we expect our community to wait? Garden Grove residents deserve a community that doesn't prioritize the interests of companies pursuing profit over people's safety. So in all this time, what needs to happen? As a Garden Grove resident, we still need full transparency on the impacts on our health and environment. We need to say no to these weapons manufacturers in our community and a moratorium to prevent the continued expansion of GKN so our community can actually feel safe. And really the bare minimum is to provide financial compensation to residents and accountability. And despite pinning the blame solely on GKN to provide these answers, it is still the responsibility of City Council to listen to your residents, to your constituents, and to raise their demands, just like when you pushed for $4 million from GKN to pay for the cleanup. So put people over profit, moratorium on
Time's
GKN
up,
now,
please.
make GKN pay. Thank you.
Ray Delgado. Ray Delgado, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Ray Regalado, and I am a community member here in Garden Grove. I live directly between several of the evacuation centers south of here. During the evacuations, I visited several of the centers, provided mutual aid to evacuees, and listened to story after story of how several of them came there with just a clothes on their back. First off, I want to state that expecting better communication and transparency from a city's elected officials during times of crisis, through post-crisis, and up until resolution isn't too much to ask. Honestly, where have you all been the last 6 weeks? Second, the impacts of GKN's negligence extends far beyond the residents of Garden Grove, as a greater community is impacted. This issue has taken quite a bit of my time. We are all connected. Everything is connected. And third, mind you, what the residents of Garden Grove experienced is only a small fraction of what displaced and annihilated families abroad experience as a result of the products GKN helps manufacture. Profiting off of war and genocide isn't just a normal business that benefits the community. It benefits no one, except for the few who transact and profit off of the killing and destabilizing families and destroying their homelands. And after they've sold their soul off for the dollar, even they do not benefit from the havoc and destruction they create or through the trauma they propagate. Look, I'm going to be very clear. As a community member here, I do not want companies operating in my backyard who profit off the annihilation, genocide, and displacement of people abroad. In West Asia, from Lebanon to Palestine and Iran to Southeast Asia and the Philippines to here or anywhere in the world. I do not want companies who manufacture weapons for war where I live, most especially a multi-billion-dollar British multinational corporation who contributes little, if anything, except extreme public safety hazards to the community of Garden Grove and beyond. This is garbage. The demands of the community stand. We want complete transparency of GKN's negligent operations. We want a moratorium for
Sir, your time is
GKN's
up.
expansions. We want a stronger response from the city that places the community above corporations.
Sir, your time is up.
We want GKN to face the community's concerns directly. Short of this, GKN is not welcome here.
Your time is up, sir. You need to move away from the microphone.
Next speaker, Andres Rubio.
Before I say anything, I want to start by asking, where have you all been at? School started yesterday, and I just got out of school today, and I came directly after school today to come here to talk to you guys about how it's inhumane in every single way possible, how we were abandoned by our city officials, no information at all in the month of July. As we have learned from us hosting a community backpack drive at Wacom Elementary right behind GKN, we learned how families' biggest concern was sending their kids to school while GKN is still being freely able to operate in our city, in our backyard. I also want to add, to shut down GKN moratorium now, and I do not feel safe in any way possible going to school while fighter jets are being built in our backyards, while companies are able to put literally bombs in our backyards as well, and while fighter jets are being built to bomb children like me in Gaza. Also bringing up item 331 from the agenda, since there's no GKN item agenda, I will bring up item 331. Why should city staff be approved to go to a national conference when members of our community are struggling to pay rent and struggle living paycheck to paycheck? So it will be a shame if while our community struggles, its officials are taking a vacation. Another one, by the way. Thank you. And I also want to add, This is one of my homework that are given to me, and I'm a senior. And you may ask, why am I giving a color word search while being a senior high school? And that's because we have a massive shortage of teachers in our schools. I'm taking 5 classes this year. 2 of them have a long-term sub because we have a big shortage of teachers. While the city is spending money building a new headquarters for the police, we are struggling without prices. Thank you.
Next 3 speakers are Robin, 7, followed by Axel. Robin. Next speaker, Robin.
Hello, my name is Robin. I'm a resident over in Whittier, but I'm a long-term worker over in Orange County. I wanted to speak in solidarity with everyone here who's demanding action against GKN. In my research, GKN back in 2018 had been taken over by Melrose through a hostile takeover. It has demonstrated business practices in putting profit over people. It has garnered a reputation of being a self-described turnaround company focusing on short-term shareholder values and has no experience operating Tier 1 contracts in defense, as reported by United Assistant General Secretary Steve Turner. This is why I'm no longer a machinist and am working in food service, because I really don't trust the aerospace industry and its practice of putting profits over people, including companies like Howmet Aerospace, who did contract work with Boeing, just as GKN does. Another point I want to mention is the McDonnell-Douglas merger back in '97, which initially Boeing had put engineers and technical innovation as a priority over business interests, but after the merger, it flipped to serve business interests first. This was, as a result, the MCAS system was developed, which was responsible for the Lions Air flight crash in 2008 and the Ethiopian flight in 2008, which resulted in a nosedive and crash of these planes. Various issues came to light, which resulted in $20 billion in legal fees due to negligence and conspiracy. This is why I'm demanding the city of Garden Grove to adopt an immediate moratorium to reject GKN's expansion, because it's demonstrating a similar behavior of putting profits over people. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, we're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we'll reconvene back to oral communication. All right, if everyone could please take their seat, we're going to reconvene and head back into oral communication.
Speakers next, we have 7, followed by Axel Jimenez. And following Axel Jimenez is Mohsen Ahmed. 7, go ahead.
I'm a resident of Stanton and alumni of Pacifica High School, and it has been 2 months since I had to evacuate, 2 months since 2 months since the crisis, and 2 months since there has been no real accountability to put their profits aside, and among other continuous incidents in collaboration in the humane genocide against the Palestinian, Lebanese, and Iranian people under the courtesy of GKN Aerospace. And this begs the question, is GKN Aerospace convincing you successfully to not implement the moratorium and give no satisfactory compensation to many impacted individuals and individuals abroad that's been impacted by GKN Aerospace, and that's an operation here that you guys allowed? And to allow GKN to continue operating and expanding Garden Grove, endangering the livelihoods and the health of the residents? I come here to demand that the city of Garden Grove to shut down GKN Aerospace operations in this city, as well as reject their expansion and a moratorium implement immediately. We have elected you to act and respond to the situation and to GKN Aerospace negligence towards safety. And due to the City Council's inaction to GKN Aerospace and incompetence when reacting to the situation and allowing GKN Aerospace to operate and expand after the crisis, the City Council has basically said to himself they are complicit in the genocide in Gaza and Palestine, and as well as many foreign wars under the United States imperialist war machine. And the endangerment of this city and the health of residents, as well as the lives of many others. And when November comes, your power can be taken away due to your complicity in genocide and inaction to respond to the GKN Aerospace crisis and endanger many lives. Free Palestine!
Next speaker, Axel. Axel Jimenez.
Thank you, Mayor Klopfenstein and City Council for giving us the time to have this meeting. It has been 2 months since any type of action has been done for mitigating the incident of GKN, be it compensation, insurance help, anything, any type of action for people. And I'm disappointed, angry, but I don't want to waste my breath yelling. But the most sweetest and hardworking people I've met has come from Garden Grove. And it's a shame I'm hearing about this new reputation that Garden Grove has gotten from this incident. As my friend who came to visit his hometown, he lived abroad, but he came to visit his hometown of Garden Grove. We talked about the incident and everything, and he said to me, "Classic Garden Grove." And it really hit me because I know Garden Grove to be a city full of the most hardworking street people I know, of the Strawberry Festival, of one of the best Korean barbecue spots to go to here in Orange County. And hearing this new reputation of Garden Grove being something more sinister, more reckless, where it doesn't care about its people, where it doesn't care about anything but themselves and profit. So I urge you, City Council and Mayor, to pass a moratorium and take these places like GKN away from our families here in Garden Grove, from the sweet, hardworking people here at Garden Grove. Thank you.
Our next 3 speakers, Mohsen Ahmed. Then we have Trina Armstrong and Peter Pham after Trina.
All right, good evening, Mayor, City Council. I'm here to talk about the on-call concrete services contract. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but the contract is set to be terminated, and we had 1 day on contract. 1 day on contract. I got union members ready to work, and we're here for whatever you guys need. I'm here to talk. I'd like to meet with anyone. We can find a constructive way to get through this and get the infrastructure going for the city of Garden Grove. And thank you for the consideration, and I look forward to hearing from you guys.
Trina Armstrong.
Because I have zero faith that any of you give a damn about anything we're talking about, because it's taking quite too long for you guys to stand on business. Like I called you out last time, said y'all don't give a fuck about standing on business. I'm gonna take this opportunity to educate you all by reading you Assata Shakur in honor of Black August. So she starts with, I have declared war on the rich who prosper on the poverty, the politicians who lie to us with smiling faces, and all the mindless, heartless robots who protect them and their property. And just in case the police don't know, she was talking about y'all. So, the rulers of this country have always considered their property to be more important than the lives of the people. They call us thieves, yet it is not us who rip off billions of dollars every year through tax evasion. I wonder who we could say that, that's our president, right? So where's the justice? What kind of justice is this? Where the poor go to prison and the rich go free. All we have to do is look and check at who controls the government and who are the victims of the control. 1% of the people in this country control the 70% of the wealth. And that 1% are the head of large corporations. They control policies of the news media, and they determine what you and I hear on the radio. Those same big corporations make huge. They get tax-free profits, taxes, all while taxes for the everyday working person skyrockets. While politicians take free trips around the world, those same politicians cut back food stamps for the poor. While politicians increase their salaries, millions of the people are being laid off. So she ends with, I have read the Declaration of Independence and I have great admiration for this statement. And it says, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute a new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organization in its power in each such form, as them shall seem what is most likely for safety and happiness.
Your time is up.
So again, stand on business, all power to the people, and that's word to Fred Hampton.
Your time is up.
Speaker Peter Pham.
All right, good evening. It's been, well, over 2 months since we had the GKN accident in Garden Grove, displaced tens of thousands of people, threatened lives, and altered livelihoods, right? In 2 months, over 2 months. And what have we seen from you guys? About nothing, right? So let me ask you a question. You guys really care about the people of Garden Grove, right? You care about us, people who elected you guys, right? You just really care about the residents of Garden Grove, tens of thousands of people, many of whom were displaced, many more, no people who were displaced. Now, why hasn't there been anything done over the past more than 2 months? Nothing has been done. And at the same time, we have GKN continuing to operate, wanting to expand right now, yet you guys are willing to allow GKN to continue to operate and expand, placing profits over the lives and livelihoods of tens of thousands of people. In about 3 months' time, less than 3 months' time, there is an election coming up. And you guys can change our opinions, although to be fair, it's been long overdue, but you guys still have time. But you guys got to do something about it. You guys have two options. Either do something about it, hold GKN accountable, kick them out of Garden Grove, or you can pretend to do nothing. You pretend to do nothing. In November, we will do something, and someone else will be taking your jobs. Thank you.
Next speakers are David Christensen, followed by Toby No, and then Jason Wong. David? You have David Christensen? Toby No? Jason Wong?
Hello. Hi, guys. Is my time up? Is my
Go ahead,
time-
state your name for the record, please. Thank you.
Oh, I'm Toby. Toby No.
Go ahead.
Yeah, awesome. Hi, City Council. Thank you again for allowing me the opportunity to speak. My name is Toby. I've been a resident of Garden Grove for all my life. I visited maybe too many times at UCSD, so I really love this place. Because we're home to a really diverse community of suburban homeowners and renters who all could be doing a little better when it comes to affording a good, stable life. Big picture here in the U.S., across the U.S., people also have been getting a worse and worse taste in their mouth when it comes to the war industry and how much money we spend there. Why spend billions for planes and bombs overseas and we can't even afford healthcare here at home? I went to Pacifica High School. It was a great time, and part of its history curriculum was to have us question about history and if what was done was actually morally right. For example, did the U.S. really have to drop 2 nukes on Japan? That was kind of crazy. What we took from what my peers and I took were that we have these bombs and we just use them to show dominance, and we already had them, so why not just bomb them? And same for here, right back at home. GKN is inextricably tied to weapons and a ballooning war budget and the broader global war machine. And if we make those weapons, we got to use them, right? As city council members in Garden Grove, you have a great opportunity to make a big difference and ultimately steer our city, state, and even country towards a more peaceful society. That all starts with an end to the expansion of the GKN facility and eventually dismantling the GKN plant. This plant has harmed us here at home with May's chemical leak and a number of violations. And of course, it'll be a challenge to reemploy the workers and transform the space. But hard things, so sorry. The city can push for a better future, prioritizing community safety in addition to addressing the existential question of what do our communities do, or what do our economics make profit from, and for who? So that's the question you guys face, and I hope
Time's
you
up,
guys
please.
choose peace. Thank you so much.
Next speaker, Jason Wong.
Oh, okay. Good evening, council member. My name is Jason. I'm here on our community members, and I'm with my Sunrise OC friends. And I'm here to demand City Council enact an emergency ordinance that will halt all GKA permits and establish a residential buffer zone for future hazardous facilities. So for 2 months, we've been watching you let GKN run loose, like chickens, while listening to your mute about abstract accountability for the mess they made. You all might move on, be safe from the GKN hazard zone, but we are not. Over 50,000 people have to evacuate, wasting all their money on buying hotels, trying to buy food somewhere just so they can pass by without knowing what's gonna happen. So people are still suffering from financial and emotional from all GKN. So we are so tired of waiting all this delay, 2 months, 3 months, or maybe even a year. You all admitted that this should not have happened, so where's all the passion to try to stop this? You saw off when you represent us, when you all sit all here. So who do you represent now? What all the passion, is it GKN or just people in the elites? So having to beg you to pursue justice and implement a correct framework for this chemical catastrophe that nearly tore apart all communities and not profoundly undignified. It's quite ridiculous. So right now, I urge you to do your job by heeding this overwhelming outcry and protecting us from further harm. Bring forward an emergency ordinance now to halt GKN expansion or even just end GKN overall. And enact a buffer zone around the adjacent area and school to keep hazards of disease away from us. And just destroy a GKN maybe. Thank you.
Daniel Christensen. Following Daniel, we have Dylan, then Kevin Diaz, and Jose Roman. Daniel? Dylan? Kevin Diaz? Oh, do we have Dylan? Daniel Christensen? Go ahead.
Hello, I'm Daniel Christensen. I'm from Garden Grove, District 1, and I've lived here for most of my life. When I was 13, I learned to play tennis at the Chapman Courts, just a couple of blocks away from GKN. When I was 15, I went to Pacifica High School, which is known by national news for being famously racist, but I somehow managed to still have pride for my school and the community surrounding it, especially towards the faculty that were pivotal in me growing up. I used to work at Rodeo 39, which is also adjacent to the GKN facility. One of my dearest friends lives on Lamson, directly in the radius of the blast zone, walking distance from GKN. Her parents, like many of us, immigrated from poor conditions for the hope of something better. Her father worked in Garden Grove, 2 miles away from the blast zone, starting as a mechanic before eventually starting his own shop, also in the blast zone. This city was developed brick by us, and in a weak and incompetent city left us powerless, forced to accept that our home may no longer exist because our city prioritized the profits of killing children over the safety of our community. Is it not absurd to tell your constituents that at best your city will forever be polluted or your home may be engulfed in an explosion nearly half a mile wide? You have any shame in using the word blast zone without any certainty in what is going to happen next for the 50,000 constituents that were potentially going to be affected. The fact that nothing worse has happened is not a display of competency from the city, but of simple luck. Are we going to keep waiting until Garden Grove will no longer be remembered as a city with rich working culture, but as a national tragedy?
Next speaker, Dylan, followed by Kevin Diaz.
Good evening, Council. I'm Dylan. I was one of the evacuees of the incident, and I came here previously stating my frustration at the lack of communication during the middle of a crisis, and it feels clear to me that this lack of communication is a part of a pattern. I've been frustrated that y'all have not talked about GKN. We've been promised a discussion on a moratorium 2 months ago, and you've broken that promise. And I just feel that y'all want to forget it, that this incident happened because we got lucky with a chemical tank leak or a crack in the tank. And this kind of incident can happen again. And a company like GKN that profits off of genocide shouldn't be rewarded with an expansion. And we should instead have the moratorium that we were promised to at least have a discussion on. Thank you.
Next speaker, Kevin Diaz.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Kevin Diaz, and I'm a resident of Garden Grove. Today, I come here to speak on behalf of the Garden Grove food truck vendors who don't think it's fair to be getting thousands of dollar tickets when they are paying for their permits, health permits, and are trying to do things the right way. We don't think it's fair to be working, to be paying tickets every month while also paying for permits and meeting all the requirements that you guys put to own a food truck or operate a food truck. We come here to ask you to eliminate or modernize the Garden Grove Municipal Code 8.48.030, more specifically the 10-minute moving rule for food trucks. Sorry. First, it's a major safety hazard, forcing massive commercial trucks to constantly pack up and pull back into active traffic every 10 minutes, which creates unnecessary congestion and hazards for pedestrians and other traffic cars. Second, it's logistically impossible. Modern food trucks cook fresh meals, which often take 10 to 15 minutes. Expecting them to heat up equipment, cook safely, serve a line, and move in 10 minutes is an effective ban mask as a regulation. Lastly, this rule hurts our local economy and is punishing licensed, tax-paying, family-owned businesses while also robbing residents of affordable food choices. Other cities are proving that modernizing these laws work. Right next door, we have Santa Ana, who completely got rid of this time limits to be more business-friendly. We also have Long Beach that recently passed another law to create a designated multi-hour parking spot for trucks. With all the evidence, we can agree that this law is a little ridiculous because it just doesn't fit modern food culture anymore. Garden Grove should do the same. I urge the council to review the obsolete code and replace the 10-minute limit with a realistic multi-hour framework instead of just handing out tickets while still collecting money from permit renewals. Thank you for your time.
Jose Roman. Jose Roman. Next, we'll have Siddharth, followed by Cecilia, and then Aurora. Go ahead.
Good evening. I'm Jose, and I'm here on behalf of my father's family-owned business. We run a food truck, and we want to ask the City Council of Garden Grove lets us sell in the city with no issues or fines. We find it unfair that we got removed despite having all required permits and passing health inspections and paid so much money in fines. It got to a point where it was too much, and we had no choice but to leave. This has affected us and lost us many customers that we built up in 4 years. We find it unfair that there are dozens of other food trucks still selling in Garden Grove with no issue. There was a truck selling right next to us who is still currently there and selling. We aren't asking to remove them or any food truck in Garden Grove, but we are asking for fairness. We don't believe to be affecting anyone nor the city. We just want to be able to work and sell food to the city of Garden Grove with no issue. Thank you.
Siddharth. Siddharth. Cecilia. Aurora. Our next speakers are going to be Ken Tran, followed by Connor Brody, then Rashad. Please state your name for the record.
Hello, my name's Ken. Good evening, council members. I'm a lifelong Orange County resident from Little Saigon, and in May, my family lived right outside the border, or inside the border technically, of the GKN evacuation zone. So, quick reminder again for everybody, when the tank malfunctioned, residents were told that there was a risk of an explosion and the release of methyl methacrylate, a highly volatile chemical used at the facility. More than 50,000 people were evacuated. My family was not just a number. Many were Vietnamese-speaking low-income immigrant and refugee communities. My own family struggled to understand how serious the situation is. I had to beg my older family members to leave. And fortunately, they were able to leave for a few days, but they did not understand how important it was. Other families could not afford to leave while shelters became overwhelmed. Thankfully, the worst-case scenario did not happen. But we should not confuse narrowly avoiding a catastrophe with having a safe system. It's been 2 months, and we are still waiting for accountability. Yesterday, GCAN announced that it's assessing potential claims program for people who suffered losses during the evacuation. Compensation is important, but potential claim programs is not accountability. Residents deserve answers about what happened and what will be done to prevent it from happening again. GKN also has a history of environmental and workplace violations, yet the city has continued allowing this facility to operate and expand. So I asked the city council, why are we waiting for GKN to hold itself accountable? And why should we wait for Sacramento when Garden Grove has the power to act? You control land use and zoning. Halt GKN's expansion and permits and establish a buffer zone between hazardous industrial facilities, homes, and schools. We have already waited for 2 months. Please act now. Protect our communities and put people before your corporate interests. Thank you.
Next, we'll have Connor Brody.
You know, I think it's really clear that you guys are not listening to the people. I don't know how many meetings it takes for you guys to listen, and it's absurd this was pushed back and is not even on the agenda about GKN. I think it's clear that this, with what everyone has been saying, the information is out there and the accountability is absolutely required. It is not okay to keep pushing this back. And for all of you, I'm sure most of you are sold out already, but for those of you who that are not sold out, I understand accountability is a difficult thing, and sometimes you have to go outside of your comfort zone to push for accountability, but it has to be done. And like many others have said, your elections are coming up. So each and every one of you who does not stand for bringing justice to GKN is gone. You're gone. You're not going to be on the council. And I urge all of the people in Garden Grove, those looking to run for office, please stand up. All people stand up, join the GKN Out campaign. Stand up, run against these council members that are not standing on business. They're not holding GKN accountable, and they're not holding each other accountable. So I urge people, stand up. I'm part of the Orange County Green Party, and we would be more than happy to help people run against you guys that are not doing what is necessary for the people. It's baffling that this is not being addressed. Like, how do you think it's okay to not be prioritizing this? It's not okay. So do better or you're getting out of here.
Next speaker, Rashad.
Good evening, council members. My name is Rashad Al-Dabag. I'm the executive director of the Arab American Civic Council, an Orange County-based organization that serves and empowers Arab American residents. I'm speaking today to urge you all that Garden Grove put people over corporations and kick GKN out of Garden Grove. The City Council must bring forward an emergency ordinance to halt expansion and permits of GKN and enact a buffer zone near residential areas. In addition to the chemical crisis that threatened Orange County residents, GKN's role as a manufacturer of F-35 fighter jet components may render the company criminally liable for complicity in the Gaza genocide. The city has the power to take action, to begin addressing root causes of this problem. Military component manufacturing facilities that treat our communities as disposable, from Garden Grove to Gaza. Pass the moratorium now. Thank you.
Next, we have Nicole Hymas, followed by Axel. Nicole Hymas. Next speaker is going to be Nicole Hymas, followed by Axel. Mayor, we're going to continue to our remote participants now.
Wasn't expecting that. Oh, there's no timer today?
Yeah, you have to state your name and then they'll put the timer on.
Okay, my name's Nicole. Didn't realize that was a requirement. Okay, well, hello, tyrants. Just wanted to kind of start this out since you did lower our time from 3 minutes to 2 minutes. And I did see that post, that GKN made, but you guys had an entire month off. An entire month. And in that time, there really hasn't been any update about GKN organically from any of you. So it's not so much that GKN has to make all these, I guess, reparations, but part of it, how do you not know what is inside your own city? I mean, some of you have been sitting here for a while, from councilwoman to mayor. How do you guys not know what's in your city, and how do you not have a plan? So although you want GKN, as they should, make everything correct, but also on your end, you guys should come out and say, this is what we learned, this is what we're doing differently. These are the changes that we've made, and that hasn't come out anywhere at all. So it's kind of like you guys don't know anything. You haven't learned anything at all, which is a shame. That's kind of like your purpose. You literally sent people in here for a chemical, and it's like, it's your life, it's not mine, So it was rather irresponsible. So going forward, what type of safety checks are you guys going to make sure? What other chemicals do you have a plan for? If you don't, at least say so. Just be like, I don't know what I'm fucking doing. At least just say it and be honest and be transparent for once. Thank you.
We will now start with our remote participants. Jeff Clace, go ahead. You have 2 minutes.
Good evening again, Mayor and members of City Council. This is Jeff from the IT department again. We wanted to check the audio one last time before we moved into remote oral communications to make sure everything's working okay. So hopefully you can still hear me okay?
Yes, we can confirm we can hear you. Thank you.
That is great. Thank you again and have a good night.
Next participant, William Zilla. You have 2 minutes. Go ahead. William Zilla, you have 2 minutes. Go ahead. William Zilla, it is your turn for your public comment. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Thank you. Go ahead. You have 2 minutes.
About that. Thank you, Mayor, council members, and city staff. My name is William Zilla, resident of Garden Grove, Council District 1 for 25 years. You guys have just heard a lot of comments about GKN, and unfortunately, a lot of my comments have to deal with GKN, but I'm going to focus on one word tonight, and it's accountability. Accountability in regards specifically to holding GKN accountable and holding city, county, regional, state, and federal regulatory and enforcement agencies accountable. And then ask you a question, how does the city plan to move forward in ensuring accountability or maintaining regular, clear communication to residents? So the proposed process that was exposed last night or posted last night by GKN, whether initiated by the city or both or by the city itself, is a good start, but it's only a starting point. Accountability. How do you plan on holding them accountable? as responsible corporate citizens to the community. It doesn't mean shutting them down, and I know that's unpopular to say with the crowd that you just saw, but a lot of them don't understand the takings clause in city government. If we shut them down, it's going to cost the city hundreds of millions of dollars, and it will cause us to go bankrupt. So, how do we go ahead and address accountability with GKN? Ensuring the tanks are repaired and replaced in a manner that ensures safety of our community over corporate profits. How do we ensure accountability to address existing violations such as fired fire extinguishers throughout the floors that employees have sent me pictures of? How do we ensure accountability for sprinkler systems that are not been recertified?
Sir, I'm sorry, your 2 minutes is up. Thank you.
Next speaker with phone number ending in 238. Go ahead, you have 2 minutes.
Council, thank you for your commitment to the community. I would say that this call is, I wish I'd done a long time ago. I've committed my time and resources for our country in Congress in California, and actually started the second Beta Garden Grove and Master Plan Safe Route School. The tragedy happened on Haster, and Lansing was not necessary, or Acacia and Nelson is not necessary. You need to reform, as Mr. Joey Putnam, Council. I'm not putting words into your chair or the council, but you were emphatically at the time in the beginning that you were stating that they don't meet enough. And that is so true. The rubber stamping and derating in parts and the mismanagement of the trail, and you're planting chips and it's going to rot, and you don't have filters on the irrigation system for the water to clog up. And now you've got problems with Gilbert, the roads falling apart, and you have a safe route to school program with bike riding. It's not happening. You need lighting. You need to realize that they need no parking, and your commission is not doing its job, or the engineers, quite frankly. And your safe routes to school in terms of the Garden Grove, they don't have a plan anymore. They don't have e-bike safety, which as Americans, they don't want it on the agenda. For my civil rights in 21, they took it away because I cannot go. They made sure that I could not speak in writing to the public comment period. We have a lot of silos, and what's going to happen, and I have the background experience, is that you're going to end up having a financial problem in the budget because you don't have a building of progressive planning urban density. And the statement by your administration that Be Well knows, they do not know. And there needs to be a resolution to recognize it puts a burden on our community and law enforcement when we don't know what child this is. And I have a record in Congress that they do know because they understand what I said. I wish I could have my District 2 speak to you out of courtesy.
Your time is up. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Mayor, that concludes our oral communications.
Thank you very much. All right. At this time, we will move to written communications, and we have 2 this evening. Item 3.
Item 3 is consideration of a written request from the Korean American Seniors Association of Orange County for co-sponsorship of the facility rental fees for use of the Community Meeting Center on October 2nd, 2026. And Director John Montanches is here to provide that report.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Mayor and members of City Council. The item before you is a request to transmit a letter on behalf of the Korean American Seniors Association of Orange County, also known as CASA OC, seeking city co-sponsorship of facility rental fees for the use of the Community Meeting Center on October the 2nd, 2026. CASA OC is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that was established in Garden Grove in 1977. The organization has approximately 1,500 regular members and currently provides welfare, food, and educational services to approximately 3,000 seniors throughout Orange County. CASA OC is requesting City Council approval to co-sponsor the facility rental fees for the use of the Community Meeting Center's A and B room and the Constitution Room on October the 2nd, 2026, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The event is expected to serve approximately 300 senior citizens, including members of the city's own H. Lewis Lake Senior Center, in celebration of Chuseok, which is known as Korean Thanksgiving Day. Staff has verified that CASA OC is in good standing with both the California Office of Attorney General and the Internal Revenue Services. The financial impact for the requested co-sponsorship is an in-kind contribution of $1,509 for the facility rental fees. Therefore, it is recommended that the City Council consider co-sponsorship requests from CASA OC for the facility rental fees associated with the use of the Community Meeting Center, rooms A and B room, and Constitution on October the 2nd, 2026. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much for the report. Colleagues, any questions or motion?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah, I get what they do. This would be specifically for like a food event where they, like a Thanksgiving type of event or something, or is this a separate thing?
It's a celebration of the Korean Thanksgiving. They have some entertainment. They also do give away, they provide food, and they also give away food to some of the seniors.
Cool. Well, I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
a question?
Well,
comment?
before we go further, just a quick note. I have attended their event for the last 2 years. Just a great event, like you already mentioned. For the senior, they celebrate and they give out items. And I also brought items to donate in the past year. So yes, would love to support you. You already make the motion. I would love to second that. And I know some other team member here already mentioned that. But yes, a great event. And if our council member could have time, come and join. So that was it. Thank you.
Thank you. It is a great event. We have a motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
Mayor, I'm not registering a vote.
It didn't come up.
It didn't come up?
Another screen came up over when I tried to vote, and it wouldn't let me, so.
Sounds good. We will do a roll call vote. Councilmember Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilmember Tran?
Yes.
Councilmember Dovin?
Aye.
Councilmember Muñetón?
Yes.
Councilmember Adistegi?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brigham?
Yes.
And Mayor Klumpenstein.
Yes.
Motion received, 7 yes votes, motion carries.
One second. Oh, yeah, okay. All right, we'll move to written communications, item 4.
Item 4 is consideration of a written request from the City of Stanton for co-sponsorship of the rental fees and permission to use the snowmobile outside city limits on September 10 through the 14th, 2026. And Director John Montanches is here to provide that report.
Yeah, once again, good evening, mayors and members of the City Council. The item before you is a request from the City of Stanton seeking co-sponsorship of rental fees and authorization for the use of the showmobile outside of Garden Grove city limits from September the 10th through September the 14th, 2026. The City of Stanton is submitting this request on behalf of St. Polycarp's Catholic Church for its annual St. Polycarp Family Festival scheduled from September 11th, 12th, and 13th of 2026. The City of Stanton approved St. Polycarp Catholic Church's request at its regular City Council meeting on May 12, 2026. The City of Stanton, on behalf of St. Polycarp Catholic Church, is requesting City Council approval to co-sponsor the rental fees for the use of the showmobile from 9 a.m. on September the 10th through 10 a.m. on September the 14th, 2026. Additionally, because the event takes place in Stanton, the city is requesting authorization of the showmobile to be used outside of Garden Grove city limits, in accordance with the city showmobile's general use policy. The financial impact of the requested co-sponsorship is an in-kind contribution of $1,050 based on a nonprofit rate of $350 per day for the use of the showmobile. Therefore, it is recommended that the City Council consider co-sponsorship requests from the City of Stanton on behalf of St. Polycarp Catholic Church for a waiver of the rental fees associated with the use of the showmobile from September the 10th through September the 14th, 2026, and authorize the showmobile to be used outside of the Garden Grove city limits. This concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you very much. I think we have a question.
Not so much about question, but just a quick note too. So I have been at St. Polycarp probably 30 plus years. Seems like so long ago. And I have participated in this event at St. Polycarp every year. I would love to have us to participate as co-sponsors. I would like to do the most on that. But at the same time, this event is for the public. And so hopefully a lot of you, if you never been at the event, come and join us. There will be food and entertainment. Our choir will be performing. The youth group going to be performing. So it's just a great time for family and friends to come over. So yeah, I would like to make the motion.
Great, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, David Shaver had reached out to me last year, I think it was, to get this agendized for last year, and you know, I'm glad it worked out. I'm assuming everything went smooth. Technically, it's outside of the city limits. It's like literally like right across the street from our city, and but that the vast majority of their parishioners at the church are from Garden Grove. So I'd like to second the motion, but I also have a question regarding the towing. Does Stanton pay for the towing to tow the showmobile over there, or is that included in our contribution?
Yeah, no, St. Polycarp actually pays for the towing.
Okay, so the church is actually
Yeah.
paying for the towing. That's actually probably a little more expensive than the showmobile rental, right?
Yeah, it's, well,
About the same.
it's about $400 or so for the
Okay.
towing, yeah.
Okay. And so with that, I'll make the second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
Motion receives, 7 yes votes. Motion carries.
All right, at this time, we will recess City Council and move to our other legislative bodies, which is successor agency. And Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Chair Klopfenstein?
Here.
Vice Chair Muñetón?
Yes.
Member Brightingham?
Here.
Member Nguyen?
Here.
Member Tran?
Here.
Member Dovin?
Present.
And Member Aristegui?
Here.
Consent?
We're good?
Yes.
All right, we've already held oral communication, so that takes us into our consent items. We have one, which is receive and file minutes held on June 23rd.
Move it.
Okay, motion? Second. I have a motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
Motion receives, 7 yes votes. Motion carries.
Thank you. Any matters from agency members? All right, seeing none, we will adjourn and reconvene our city council meeting. And that will take us into our consent calendar. We've already adopted the resolution item 5, so this is item 6 through 23. I'll take a motion unless someone would like to pull one of the specific items.
Move it.
All right, I have a motion and a couple of seconds. Call for the vote, please.
Sorry, for the record, who was the first?
Joe was
I think
first,
Joe was
but he
first, but-
started with a second.
Oh. First and second, thank you.
Just to be on the
Motion-
safe side.
Motion received, 7 yes votes. Motion carries.
Giving it the motion and the second. That's good. It's-
All right, this takes us to items for consideration 24.
Item 24 is an award of contract to TSG Enterprises, Inc. for Community Workforce Agreement Administration Services. And I think we have staff providing a report shortly.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. The item before you relates to an award of contract to TSG Enterprises for CWA Administration Services. This is a contract for a period of 5 years. an RFP was issued and 3 proposals were submitted. And the recommended through the rating system is TSG Enterprises. And Public Works Director Sam Kim is available if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, any questions of our Public Works Director or a motion? Where are we at here? Anybody? Did you have a question?
Did he have a presentation? or-
I think she gave a
Oh.
concise synopsis of the presentation. Director Kim, would you like to add to that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So again, any questions, comments, or a motion, please?
And this is the community workforce agreement. I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
Excuse me.
Motion received, 7 yes votes. Motion carries.
All right, on to item 25.
Item 25 is authorization for the issuance of a purchase order or purchase orders with Econolite Products and JTB Supply Company, Inc. for traffic control operations for fiscal year 2026 through 27 through fiscal year 2030 through 31. And Public Works Department Director Sam Kim is here to provide the report.
Madam Mayor and members of City Council, tonight City Council is being asked to authorize purchase orders to Econolite Control Products and JTB Supply Company for traffic control products. The city exclusively uses Econolite controllers at every signal lights intersections to regulate the timing and coordination of vehicular and pedestrian traffic signals. As the sole source provider for the city's traffic signal control system, Econolite is exempt from the formal bidding process pursuant to municipal code provisions. JTB Supply offers a broad inventory of traffic signal hardwares from 17 different manufacturers and consistently provides competitive pricing. Their location in the city of Orange allows city traffic engineering staff to retrieve emergency orders the same day. Based on the JTB Supply Company's wide product availability, proven responsiveness, and geographic convenience, it is in the city's best interest to dispense with the formal bidding pursuant to municipal code provisions. Therefore, staff recommends issuing a purchase order to Econolite Control Products in the amount of $100,000 annually for a total 5-year term not to exceed $500,000, and issuing a purchase order to JTB Supply Company in the amount of $150,000 annually for total 5-year term not to exceed of $750,000. The cost will be observed within Public Works Engineering Division's operating budget. There is no impact to the general fund. This concludes the staff's report, and staff is here to answer any questions.
Thank you for the report. Colleagues, questions, comments?
Madam Mayor?
Aye.
Oh, go ahead. Let him go first. Go ahead. Each before you.
I have a question. As far as the report show that JTB Supply inventory the traffic control hardware from 17 different manufacturers, and they provide a very competitive pricing, but do we have any quality control over the hardware that they supply?
Yeah, we've been using them for last few years, and they have proven to be providing a good quality products.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor? Yeah. So, Econolite, what kind of products are we talking about? The light bulbs, the shrouds that go over, that kind of stuff?
No, CCTV controls and timing delay controls and our traffic control boxes and all this stuff.
So are they the ones who are responsible for we've spent a lot of money on Valley View, Oakhurst, Magnolia Harbor to do the synchronization effort?
Yes, we're using their products, yeah.
Because they suck. They don't work. I mean, I've seen all this money being spent to synchronize those lights, and rarely do I see them actually working. I don't know if we're just throwing money, and I know that has nothing to do with this, but, yeah, it looks like that's kind of a fiasco, because you're supposed to be able to do the speed limit on those roads. And you hit a green light, and then you're gonna hit the next green light as long as you're going the speed limit, right? And the next one, and the next one, and it just never works that way. You still stop at every damn light, right? So I don't know if it was a pipe dream or somebody sold us a bill of goods that this was gonna actually work. But if Econo Light's involved in that, I'm not real happy with them. But with that being said, I do understand we need to replace things, especially when light poles get knocked down in accidents and that kind of stuff, and we can't just leave them. But I do think we need to start rethinking these synchronized lights. I think we're just throwing away money on these things. But with that being said, I'll make the motion.
I have a quick note. So I felt the same way like Mayor Pro Tem mentioned when I first joined the council. And that's why I asked several times about the synchronization project, especially the brokers and trash area. And just as an update, the issue was that we have traffic go north and south on brokers, and we have people get off the freeway, which is not controlled by us, but by Caltrans. And so, make a long story short, they did not work with our staff. I have to reach out to different assembly member, tree-tile office, and other people to get involved. And they were able, finally, they sit down with us. And now, after many months that our staff, traffic engineer worked with them, they were able to make a progress. And so I was just, I guess, was privileged to see the report from our staff for that, just that corner. And I was able to see the progress and making better with, they give the report of different day, different time of the day, etc. So I was so happy about that because now you actually make, like, as a council member, we were able to make the direct impact to people's life and, things that we get frustrated with. So, yes, I could show you the result from that. But my question to you, Director, is that the people that make, because in here is the sole source, so I'm guessing that they're the one that make the same product that you use for that corner?
Yes, they're the one who's providing the products, controllers.
So back to the concern from the Mayor Pro Tem, was that because we need to update the study, or why is that we had a problem when we spend so much money for other locations? I mean, this one, I already got the results. I'm happy with it.
I'm not aware of the situations. Definitely, I'll look into it. When we test our controllers around the Valley View, because we had some issues with the fire station for the lights and timing issues. So we test lights around that area, and everything was working fine. So definitely I'll looking into it. If there's any issues with the communication among jurisdictions or anything like that is happening in that Valley View. So I'll looking into it, sir.
Well, thank you. And I'm glad you got your one intersection working, but it's supposed to be the whole length of the street of Brookhurst, not just one intersection. And same with Magnolia, same with Harbor, same with, so, I mean, I'm glad you got that one corner to work, but we spent a lot of money to do the whole street, and the whole street should be working. You should be able to drive and not have to stop at every light, and, but anyway, I digress. I made the motion.
I second it.
Hold on, I have another question, and then there's also an at the end here.
Yeah, just a quick question and comment. And I know that this is a vote for the goods and products. It's supply. It's not the actual maintenance or traffic control part of the making the lights coordinated or timing. So we're just voting for the products, which you vouched that we've used them as suppliers before, and that they provide us reliable products.
Yes, sir.
It's just making these products work accordingly, and that may be coordinating with other jurisdictions, like you say, like Caltrans. So we're bringing up this issue so you can work with other jurisdictions and work on the timing with our traffic engineer, not so much the products, which seems to be reliable.
Yes, sir.
Yes, and George, by no means do I encourage you to LARP the Fast and the live action role play the Fast and the Furious to test the synchronization of lights on Valley View. Please don't do that. But definitely, as to what Councilmember Dovin mentioned, this is a hardware issue, not necessarily a software issue. So just to make sure the public understands that this is to make sure that we're addressing parts, not necessarily the actual the operations. We'll leave that to our coordination with folks in different agencies. My question to you, Sam, is with regards to these types of products, how frequently do we need to replace these types of products for our city at large?
Well, it's hard to tell. If there's an accident damaging the controllers and cabinets of a control box, then it's rather frequent. But lifetime on each controller has a different lifespan. But I'm guessing at least we get 2-year warranty of it, and then at least 5-year lifespan out of it.
Thank you so much, Sam.
Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, I think we have a motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
Motion received, 7 yes votes, motion carries.
All right, item 26.
Item 26 is award of contract to Premier Property Preservation LLC for janitorial services at city parks, RFP number S-1393, and Public Works Director Sam Kim will provide the report.
Madam Mayor and members of City Council, tonight City Council is being asked to award the contract to Premier Property Preservation LLC for janitorial services at the city's 19 park locations. The city's parks require 7-day per week janitorial coverage for maintaining adequate levels of cleanliness to ensure the health and safety of park visitors. These services include restroom sanitation, litter abatement, trash disposal, and on-call emergency response. Increased services are needed during seasonal and holiday activities and events. The city issued a request proposal in May 2026 and received 7 proposals. Based on staff's evaluation, Premier Property Preservation LLC was rated highest as the most qualified contractor. Staff recommends awarding a contract to Premier Property Preservation in the amount of just under $280,000 for the initial 1-year term, with the 4 additional 1-year extensions for a total of 5-year agreement not to exceed of $1,486,378.75. The agreement will also allow the contractor to support with the cleanup and monitoring at city-run events. Funding is from the General and Park Maintenance District Assessment Funds with no impact to the general fund. This concludes the staff's report, and staff is here to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Colleagues?
Sam?
Yes.
Go ahead. Hi, Sam. Sam, how frequently are we in need of these types of on-call services?
It's like everyday services, and we'll help to clean out the bathrooms, and then even sometimes at night, emergency response is required.
So how many folks do we currently have in our Public Works Department that handle this as their main job description?
We do not have the staff main job description as janitorial service for parks. We do have a parks maintenance group, and they help out. We got about 10 or 12 people.
Are these the same employees that manage all the different parks in our city, so they're kind of spread out and?
Yes, their main job is for maintenance, not for the janitorial services, for parks, restroom, and stuff.
So that the janitorial is not the main part of their job duty, and also they're not fully at one location at any given time?
Yes, ma'am.
So what are some examples of the types of citywide events where we would be having these folks coming in to help us?
Any activities at the parks, setting up and any trash disposals with the special events that community services department's having.
Sam? Thank you, Sam.
Yes.
Quick question. So how are we doing now? Do we have similar service?
Yes, we do. We do have similar services. It's about to expire.
So I was at the Atlantic Park, and inside the restroom was not good. And I went to couple of times at Garden Go Park. The restroom was not good neither. And so, and I went to other city nearby, Fountain Valley. I was impressed compared to what I saw at Garden Go. And that's why I asked, how are we doing right now? Probably this question maybe go to the recreation part, I don't know, but hopefully the feedback to you, and hopefully we're gonna have a better service. Not so because the people or because the park manager did not get the people, the janitor to come and clean up or what, but I think we can do better job of handling this.
Definitely we'll look into it, and most of the time after the service, people go in and vandalize the bathroom most of the time. And we don't get report after vandalization, so if we get report, we respond right away to take care of stuff.
Yeah, but that is something that have been happening, so we have to do something about it. And related to the condition, for example, the Atlantic Park, inside, the paint was falling off, the floor was not good. I took a couple of pictures, and so, like I said, the feedback to staff, we need to look into that, and hopefully we will have either better service or the manager, the park manager, whoever that is, have to find a way to do better. So that was it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, we'll look into it.
Thanks.
Madam Mayor?
Yeah.
Does the park maintenance group, do they do any of the bathroom cleanings? Is that like an ancillary duty for them, or?
No, that's not their regular services. If any vandalization happens, and then they go and they do the cleanups and all the stuff, but their main responsibility is just a park maintenance. And then janitor services have always been on-call service.
And then would they have, as part of their ancillary duties, to fix the vandalism that might have happened in the bathroom?
Yes, sir.
And would that include the old peeling paint that Councilwoman Cindy had?
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at it. We may need to get a facility division involved.
Okay. And, you know, we hire a company like this as needed, or, you know, to supplement. But in fact, they're not a supplement because they're the ones doing it, right? So, you know, we really should be thinking of them more as that's the ones that are assigned to clean the bathrooms. If no one else is doing it, then they're not a supplemental. They're the main force, right? So we might need to start, and I don't know if that number is, I mean, it looks pretty low to me to maintain all the park bathrooms in our city for a year, you know, but we might need to start looking at either throwing them more money or holding them more accountable for the finished product.
City Manager?
Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, thank you for your feedback relating to this janitorial services contract. I'll work with Public Works Director Sam Kim, and we have a new facilities division manager, Jess, and we'll work through the frequency. If there's a need during higher utilization during our summer months to increase maintenance, and we'll look into that and report back.
City Manager, if we could maybe have kind of like a data report back at some point in time, maybe if that's in 6 months or whatever you deem appropriate, but just to kind of give us an overview of sort of how this new company's working, what the tasks at hand are, how it's being managed and so forth, I think that'd be helpful.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Also, if I may suggest, I know we're having a few parks that are now having restrooms as well. If possible, there can be like a number, like if you see something, uncleanliness or anything needs to be attended to, like call this number just to make it more accessible as opposed to like look at it in the website. Maybe just having a direct number that can be helpful too, just so we can avoid vandalism as well.
Yes, ma'am.
I definitely agree with Councilmember Mungueton. It's definitely would be a little bit clearer than, having to explain to residents how to use the GG app every single time, right? Having that readily accessible for them to be able to input requests for service, because we've certainly been out in parks and the weekends and things like that, and we've seen some things, and I know it's definitely a concern for our families when they're out there with their kids. So any ability that we can have to make that more accessible would be really appreciated. Thank you, Director.
All right, do we have a motion?
And,
and a second?
Motion, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
And I agree with Director Samuel about the vandalism. It's happened a lot, I noticed. And so definitely that we can, in the same time as Councilwoman Cindy Tran was talking about, maybe we could put more effort that help clean up the area better. Also, agree with Jasonia and Ariana about posting a phone number that people can call just in case that they see something. They can call the service, the public service, or them can come over and do the service cleanup right away. That's such a good idea, and I go for it too.
Great, thank you. We have a motion, and do we have a second?
Yes, motion.
I did motion, yeah.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
For the record, who was the first?
I did the motion.
Councilwoman Tran?
And
then
second.
Councilmember Nguyen?
Thank you. Motion received, 7 yes votes. Motion carries.
All right, thank you. That takes us to ordinances presented for second reading and adoption. Item 27.
Item 27 is the second reading and adoption of ordinance number 2978, entitled, "An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Grove approving one zoning amendment number A-046-2026 to amend the city's official zoning map to change the zoning of an approximately 1.8 acre parcel located on the southeast corner of Russell Avenue and Carey Street at 9822 Russell Avenue, assessor parcel number 098-081-19, from R1 Single Family Residential to Residential Plan Unit Development PUD-020 2026, zoning with an R2 Limited Multiple Residential Base Zone, and 2 Residential Plan Unit Development Number PUD-020-2026, to facilitate the development of a 26-unit residential attached condominium project on the subject site.
All right, very good. Any questions or comments? Otherwise, I'll seek a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
Motion received, 7 yes votes. Motion carries. Oh, let me restate that for the record. Motion received, 6 yes votes, with Councilmember or Mayor Pro Tem Brightingham voting no. Motion carries.
All right, on to 28.
Item 28 is second reading and adoption of ordinance number 2979, entitled, "An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Grove amending provisions of chapters 2.50 and 2.52 of Title II of the Garden Grove Municipal Code relating to purchasing and contracting procedures."
Motion?
Madam Mayor?
Comments? Yes.
So this is basically just updating to the new legalities, basically, right?
Yeah, Mayor, members of the City Council, this item was introduced at our last council meeting. It's an update. The thresholds for the purchasing, both under public construction and also for the purchase of supplies, under federal and state law, they adjust the thresholds. The federal, they do it every 5 years, the state every 2 years, and this ordinance catches up with our current thresholds, both in the state and federal regulations. And in addition to that, with respects to the state regulations, because they're amended every 2 years, it does change the code to stipulate that the state thresholds become effective immediately once the state increases their thresholds. So we don't have to be amending the ordinance every 2 years. So it becomes automatic. Those are the major changes to the code by this ordinance. And if you have any specific questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
No, this is second reading, and I'll make the motion. I just wanted to clarify it for the public.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
Motion received, 7 yes votes. Motion carries.
Thank you. That takes us to matters. We will start in District 6 this evening.
Hello, everybody. So we had a wonderful ribbon cutting for the Jardín de los Niños. I want to thank all of my colleagues that attended that ribbon cutting for a wonderful rehabilitation of that playground in the Buena Clinton neighborhood. It was a beautiful event. All of the kids there were very happy about it. They were excited. I had a very hard time getting my niece to leave the playground. She was very excited to be there. And she's growing up so fast. I'm so happy for Penny. So I'm very grateful to all of our staff who helped execute such a wonderful event and were able to announce this to the community and get so many folks out. It was really great to see so many parents and families there. It was a really long time coming to be able to accomplish this rehabilitation. I want to make sure to thank my predecessor, Councilmember Kim Wen Peñalosa, who really fought to make sure that we had the appropriate funding to execute this project when she was on council. And it's been wonderful to, as a Parks Commissioner myself, and now as a council member, be able to be there to see the ribbon finally be cut and see our families enjoy this playground to be able to enjoy it for time to come. I know that we still have some more beautification going on in that area. We're going to be doing more to spruce up the mural as well. So folks should be expecting to see some more improvements. It was really wonderful. So thank you all there, and thank you staff for your work over the years to make sure that we were able to execute this project. It's going to be one of a couple other improvements. I'm sure Councilmember Muñetón will be excited to tell us when the next ribbon cutting is going to be in her area as well. I want to make sure to ask some questions here because we had a lot of speakers come here today, and they had some very good questions, and I myself still have many questions. I was glad that yesterday we got one step closer to getting some sort of answers as to our community becoming whole, as GKN is going to begin this process of seeking a structure to begin remunerating and making whole our residents. We're going to be looking forward to seeing what the results of that are going to be, what that structure is going to look like. We're going to continue pressing them on this. This is a no-brainer. I do want to make sure, because we had some folks asking us about information and when we're going to get information. I also would like to know when we're going to get some information, and that's also because some of that information does not necessarily come through this body, right? We are still very much waiting for what's called an after-incident report, which is the report that's made after all of this incident has been taken care of, said and done, and there are after-incident reports prepared by various agencies that were in some way involved within this process, and it's all a part also of our ability to fact find. To be able to, have that before us so that we're also able to make decisions and make determinations so that we're not making decisions and determinations blind or in a vacuum. So a big part of that is I know that we have an after-incident report that's going to be coming from the Orange County Fire Authority, and I think we might have one coming from the county. I am not sure. But my question to our city staff is if we would be able to get an update from the Orange County Fire Authority or ETA as to when we're going to get that after incident report, because they were the ones that were the closest to the front lines. Truly, they were the ones where right next to the tank, they kind of saw everything. So, and would be able to tell us a little bit more about all of this. So do we know when we're going to get that?
Just really quickly, there are multiple agencies that still have jurisdiction over the incident and over the property. So the city did try to do some enforcement, but at the time, Cal OSHA issued directives. We also learned that there are court procedures that have imposed limitations on ability, basically orders to preserve evidence, because there are multiple lawsuits filed against the company. And so at this point, we need to, let the courts and let the other, state and federal agencies do their work, and we have no control over those agencies, obviously. So whenever they provide any information, then we'll be, we are trying to monitor so that once the information does come out, then we'll let the council know what comes out of that.
So, Omar, I want to make sure that I understand, because is it because there are other agencies that are kind of in front of other agencies in line that's preventing some of that information from getting to us?
Yes, and also there's litigation, and there's also actions by the U.S. AG's office and also the district attorney's office. And so at this point, very little information is public. Most likely will become public if there is additional litigation filed and it goes to public court.
I do think that we should make the attempt to try to communicate with folks. So can we communicate with the fire authority to try and get an ETA on at least when their after incident report is coming in?
I'll be happy to follow up and report to the council.
Thank you, Lisa. Do we know if the county is also doing an after incident situation, or if that's been presented to the Board of Supervisors?
I believe an after action report is typically conducted when a local emergency or the county's declaration of emergency concludes, and I believe their emergency declaration is still active.
Okay. Do we know how long their declaration is active for?
The county, acting as the CUPA, the responsible environmental healthcare agency, to oversee the ultimate removal of tank 1, which is the compromised tank. And right now, as Omar had mentioned, there are some other regulatory agencies that are addressing that particular matter right now until that concludes and litigation concludes. The county will be the final entity that will ultimately monitor the removal and mitigation of that compromised tank.
Thank you, Lisa. So we still have a lot more. I mean, there is information we just don't know, and I know it's not coming in at the pace that we would want it to come. We would like it to come in faster. At the end of the day, there's some things that are just in the hands of other agencies, and we try reaching out to, I've certainly made calls to our other legislators higher up from us to, let them know that we still need answers. And so I know the communications are taking part, at least in that way. I'm trying to reach out to folks to see what we can do there. But, for us, I want to make, at least personally, I want to have the facts in front of me before I make any decisions, right? To me, that's something very, very important. And so the sooner that we are able to get some cooperation from some of the other agencies and get that information before us, I think it's going to be all the better for us to be able to do things. And I know that we have some legislation pending at the state legislature. Senator Umberg has Senate Bill 883 that went up in, I think it should still be in appropriations. I don't know, it might be passing and seeing the governor's desk sometime at the end of this legislative session. I know it does address some of the matters with regards to the subject of MMA and some additional issues that affect folks that were affected by the evacuation. I'm keeping my eye on that. I'm keeping in communication with the senator's office. So I encourage all of my other colleagues as well to, keep in contact with the folks that we know, because we can just try chipping away as much as we can to some of the other folks higher up than us, right? I also want to address some other comments that we received today, because we had some residents and some business owners come in, join us today from our food truck industry. And earlier this year, we had other business owners come in and express concerns with regards to the food truck culture that we have in our city, in that we don't really seem to allow a food truck culture in our city. That is not something that I think many of our residents, I might be speaking out of turn here, but I personally, I love being able to go get a taco at a food truck, right? And I do think that we are able to I think we can somehow find some middle ground on this issue and address something that seems to be a growing issue. This is the second time that we've had now multiple business owners come and express their concerns about being cited. I think that we need to find that some sort of compromise within our code to make it easier for our business owners to still be able to honor our brick and mortars, but not to completely shut them out. So I would like to be able to agendize for discussion at a later date conversations about amending our regulations with regards to food trucks. And if I would be able to get a second from someone on the dais, I would definitely appreciate that.
I would definitely second that. I think, yeah, thank you, Cindy. Perfect. Yeah. This is not the first time it has happened, and logically it's just hard for some of these businesses that are working with hot food. It's just impossible for them to stop what they're doing just so they can move every 10 minutes. I know that in the past it probably functioned that way for ice cream trucks and things like that, but now it's something different, new generation and new food small businesses in our city that are definitely are part of our city and recognized by other people. I for sure, wherever I've gone, it's like have you. I live by Hastur Basin, and they talk about the tacos, they talk about the ceviche, they talk about like things like that. It's like, yeah, that's Garden Grove. So definitely doing something for that, because I know that a lot of people in our community as well that go to these parks, they also depend on these food trucks to eat many times. So I know Cindy talked to some of our other businesses, so I know you had something else to say, so I'll second that for sure.
Actually, that's one of my items here to speak, so I was just waiting for, getting to my turn. But thank you.
So City Manager Liz, do we need to put that up for a roll call vote?
Yes, so that we can bring it back as an agenda item for actually discussion and action, but we're not going to be ready with. What we'll do is we'll put the current regulations on the agenda for the council to discuss.
Okay.
Thank you, Omar.
All right, a roll call vote from the city clerk, please.
Councilmember Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilmember Tran?
Yes.
Councilmember Dovin?
Yes, to bring it back for discussion.
Councilmember Muñetón?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brightingham?
Yes.
Councilmember Aristegui?
Yes.
And Mayor Klompenstein?
Yes.
Motion received, 7 yes votes. Motion carries.
Are you done? Okay.
Yes,
Moving
thank
on.
you.
Okay,
Cindy.
yeah.
I had just turned off my mic. It's been some time since we've last met, But I wanted to take a moment to highlight a few events that I've had the opportunity to attend recently. I attended the GGPD's National Night Out, which was a great opportunity to connect with our residents and our police department, as well as a tour in the new Garden Grove Police Department headquarters. I also attended the reopening of El Jardín de los Niños, where I celebrated along with my daughter as she played in the new playground, and the renaming of and ribbon cutting of the Palomino Elementary School, which was formerly Rosita Elementary School. These are just a few of the highlights from the past several weeks, and it's always great to see the community come together to celebrate these investments in Garden Grove. As I want to follow up on the GKN situation, I saw that the city announced announcement regarding GKN potentially creating a claims program for these for those impacted by the incident in May. While I appreciate they are discussing the potential claim program, I think we need to be very clear at this point. This is just a potential program. We don't know what the eligibility requirements will be, who will actually qualify, what will be covered, or when, if ever, the program will be implemented. Quite frankly, I don't think a vague announcement of the potential claim program should be give anyone false sense that issue has been resolved. The people who were impacted deserve real answers and meaningful accountability, not just public relations announcements. Back in May, this council also asked staff to do some research. So the question is, what is the current status on that research, and what have staff learned, and what do we expect, when do we expect a formal update on GKN?
We are still working through that, and I don't have an answer for you right now.
That will be all for me.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council, and thank you to everyone who came tonight and spoke, especially those who are still here. I am the one who said twice, the last two meetings that we convened, that if you expect us to sit here and hear you out, we expect you to sit here and hear us out. And you have done that tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I will use my time wisely. Tonight, we had to implement SB 707, and that was a month-long, if not year-long project for IT department to implement, and we got the first two callers tonight. So I always like to thank everyone who has yielded their time from 3 minutes to 2 minutes, and that's to accommodate more speakers, more public comment, not less. And each and every one of you who spoke used your 2 minutes very wisely in a civil manner, and we're having a civil discourse. It's the first time that I've seen we don't have to yell at each other, which is not a suppression of free speech, nor are we curtailing your rights. In fact, I expect a lot more outrage, a lot more. And we will get more, because I am not going to take a $4 million insult, a slap in the face from GKN, and neither should you. That is a $4 million insult. I am talking to GKN. They need to step it up, and they have to make this community whole. I think I speak for many of you. We will hold them accountable, responsible, and transparent. Now, if you think we took a month-long break, you're wrong. We've been working the whole time. The staff has been working overtime since May, since the incidents, and June, and they begged us for reprieve. They asked us to give them some time to get caught up on their overwork and their overtime and their overload. And July, we usually take a week off anyway of one of our meetings. It's one of our dark time that we take off. We took off 2 meetings, but we've had more meetings this summer than we've had traditionally. There's closed sessions and emergency meetings that you might not know about. And tonight, GKN is on the agenda. It's not on the open session agenda, but it's on the closed session agenda. And there are many things we can't reveal to you because there are litigation involved, there are legalities, and there are other jurisdictions. And I have to repeat, all of my council members have raised the issue of timeline, of holding GKN accountable and reconciling what their timeline is to deliver the results that we all want. Now, I've heard many of you, and you're still here, asking for a moratorium. You know what? You got one. You effectively have a moratorium on GKN for the last 2 months. They have not been manufacturing with MMA chemical. That's a moratorium. They're not manufacturing. Now, is GKN an existential threat to Garden Grove? Maybe. You ought to ask that question. And don't be too quick to write history. Don't be too quick. The history hasn't been written yet. Now, if you think somebody else is going to sit here where Joe Dovin sits and write the history of Garden Grove better than me, going to fight harder than me, then you vote them in. You vote them in. But you're not going to find one, and I'm fighting really hard. And as a Christian, I'll tell you what I believe. Palestine is the homeland of our Lord Jesus Christ. Respect that. I do. I'm not here to save the world. You're not here to save Palestine. You're here to raise awareness of the things that are happening there that we all witness, the death and destruction. Nobody wants that. But it's not within our power to stop that. I wish I had 969 years like Methuselah to hold back the deluge. But I can't do that. That's up to God. What we can do here locally is try to make our community whole. Right here in Garden Grove. And we can do it together. Has anybody given up? Anybody here given up yet? If we're not giving up, we're still fighting, then things will get better. Have a little faith. Have a little patience. We have demanded that GKN hold a town hall meeting. And every day, our city manager is pressing them for that. They still owe us that. So if we haven't gotten all the answers, you're not going to get all the answers all at once. I've said this. But we will get answers. They will have to hold a town hall meeting, and I'm saying it out loud. We will hold them accountable. They owe us a town hall meeting where a lot of information will come out. A lot of information has already come out, but the situation has not been rectified. Nobody's been made whole yet. But we have to keep working with each other for that. I agree that GKN has to be a good corporate citizen, yes. But they should be a citizen, a responsible one, an accountable one, and they have to be transparent. You know who you're fighting? A multinational corporation with billions and billions in assets, in powerful countries with powerful governments behind them. So I applaud your bravery. I'm right with you. Your property value is going to sink just like mine. Just like mine. Nobody's buying my house. Yeah, You should be worried about that. It's not about District 1 or Stanton or you're within the blast zone. It's about all of us. My property value has tanked. Yes, go ahead. Put your house on the market and you'll see. Right here in Garden Grove. Everybody should be outraged. Who wants to buy in Garden Grove? With a bomb next to your schools that can go off any time? No. I'm not for those tanks being maintained or fixed. I'm for all of them removed. All of them. But doesn't mean that we can do that overnight. Right now, tank 1 is not in operation, must be removed. Tank 2 and 4 may be reused. We don't know yet, but I'm not asking for that. I'm asking for all of them to be replaced, if they are even to be back in production. And they are not in production. You do have a moratorium. We just don't call it that. It's effectively a moratorium on manufacturing with MMA. And there are multiple jurisdictions who are still investigating, and the verdict is not yet out. There's going to be a lot more action from all of the jurisdictions, all of the government agencies, from the top on down. We're not the only agency that can make things right. In fact, everything is riding on our back as a city council, everything. And our backs are your backs. We're riding on your backs. My back, because I'm a resident. I pay taxes. My property value is tanking. I had to relocate. I was out of town for a week. It's not just people in the blast zone that had to relocate. A lot of people in other cities too. Westminster, Anaheim, Stanton, of course. And the rest of Garden Grove, it wasn't just in one area around Western. A lot of people had asthma. I have underlying condition. There are people with asthma and other lung health issues that they couldn't take the risk whether they were in the blast zone or not. They left town. It's sad to hear that, but it's true. Are they going to get compensated or just the 50,000? We have 200,000 residents affected, not 50,000. And I repeat, that's a $4 million insult that GKN slapped down. I'm not going to take that. No. No, either we fight back or we give up and go home. Well, it doesn't look like you guys are going home yet, and I'm still here. So let's hope for the best and work together. And I promise you, if I don't do the job for you, I'll fire myself. Thank you very much.
Councilwoman Tran?
Thank you. So last month was another busy month for several of the council members here, including the mayor. So I will not repeat some of the events that all the council members already mentioned. First one, I just want to say thank to the community aid partner, the volunteer, and supermarket, especially the Sister of the Holy Cross, for hosting the free food distribution for Garden Grove residents on July 16. More than 300 boxes of food were distributed to the needed family. So our next event gonna be the 3rd week of August for family that needed, the food. Please just check the information on the social media. Second, I want to say thanks to Supervisor Janet Nguyen for hosting the free backpack event for the students. So each year, I would donate more than 100 backpacks with supply with my own money to the Boy and Girl Club. And the mayor supported me last year with her own money, $100. This year, with the mayor's support, I was able to request another 100 backpacks for Boy and Girl Club. we're gonna give out a backpack this Friday. So for the family or the students who need help, you could reach out to the Boy and Girl Club of Garden Grove. Thanks to the Orange County Women Business Chamber and all the amazing lady for teaming up, and we donate more than $1,000 to the jog walk. I will part with that team, and I found a secret. Because a lot of time when you look at the registration, it said $125. For some people think that's a lot of money. Actually, I didn't have to pay that much. It only costs you $10 to sign up, and then you find other friends and family who would donate $5, $10, and that's how you get to $125. And so this was in the past, I was always supporting other people, but this is my first year, and it was just a great walk with a lot of students, kids, and parents, just for the good cause. So next year, I hope that I will bring more friends and family to the event. I want to say thank to our staff for amazing Garden Grove concert series. I met so many people there, the students, the parents, school teacher, and many of the residents. I hope that next year when we have this summer concert event, please put Garden Grove Park in the consideration. So at least one. We have all in the East Gate, and so everybody going there, but I think it would be nice if we could have at least one in Garden Grove Park. Earlier, I did mention about the synchronization project, so I want to say thank to the traffic engineer Juan and Jose who work on this. And I just got a text message from the planning commissioner saying that actually they work on the entire Brockhurst Street, Mayor Putem. So not just that corner, actually the entire Brockhurst down. So thank you to our staff for pushing it, even though we got the roadblock, but after many conversation, requests, and we were able to make this happen. I was able to attend the 405 Express Lane. I think some of the council members here did that too. I just want to say a couple of things. Did you know that if you have 3 or more people, you could go to some of the HOV lane that you don't have to pay? But how do you do that? You need to get the little boxing that when you try 3 or more people, you just have to change the setting, and you could try it for free. So that's the something I want to share. Also, some of us wonder why it costs so much, one of the land, like $27, and I went through that. So the reason why they did that because they want to reduce the amount of car in that land because of the price high, and they want to guarantee for other people to have a fast lane, and then when the traffic, everybody going there, even the cost high. So just a quick note, and whatever the money that actually they make, it's gonna go back to the community. So they gonna have some of the grant, and I will look forward to that, and we'll make sure to request something for our city if applicable. The Orange County Diocese and the staff have a great Marian Day. So Council Member Ariana and Philip was there, save me the seat, so thank you. We have a great time. More than 30,000 people was there. And the staff just want to say thank to the mayor and all the council members here for your support when they came here and request. Today, we approved several of the contracts, and couple business owners reached out to me and asked like, how do they get to work with Garden Grove City? And thanks to staff provide me the information. For the resident out there, business owner out there, if you want to work with the city on the contract that we put out, please go to our website. There's a link to show you how to do that. It's just have to follow the process. Today I received the Red Cross certificate for the business and the individual who helped during the GKN crisis, and they kind of donate and help out to the bring food and donation for first responder and the staff. So I will visit the business and the individuals with probably, hopefully, the mayor or some of the council who could come with me to say thank to them. Earlier, Councilmember Ariana mentioned about the food truck, and I totally agree with that because when they talk, I think last time Mayor Pro Tem and I was there talking to the business owner, every 10 minutes they have to move. Why is that? So we need to update our ordinances so that way we will be able to support our business owner better. Last but not least, about the GKN. We here listening to a lot of speakers came and talked to us, and it seemed like in front of the public, like we don't really do anything. And I appreciate Councilmember Ariana and especially Councilmember Joe Dovin share a lot of information that we were able to go through. For me, one of the things that I think if we could do, maybe from the council meeting, we could have maybe a quick update on the GKN so that way the public know what we are working on. Doesn't have to be something that in the closed session, but highlight the public information. For example, we were talking about, Yesenia were talking about the claim process and things like that, right? But at least we during this meeting or on the agenda, we have that topic and give the public the update information so that way they know that the city working on it, the council member looking into it. Just so the public out there know that this council, the staff, look at the public interest is that's one of our top priority. That way on the day one, the first day, when we heard about the news, the Mayor Pro Tem, myself was there since the morning, late at night. Then I was there until 2 a.m. almost every day. And so, Supervisor Janet Nguyen and her team too. So you know that we do we want the best for our city. We want the best for our residents, and we will work whatever it takes to make sure that the resident is safe, and we have to find the best way to move forward. That's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight, I have listened to many residents speak about KGN Aerospace. And as previous, I appreciate my councilman, Joe Dovin, and other were giving out the very meticulous, clear answer to you, I resident. And I want to inform my constituents that our Garden Grove City management are working relentlessly with GKN management to request their accountability to our residents. Earlier, I would like to congratulate Mr. JJ and Dr. Don Mueller. The 2026 Garden Grove Strawberry Ball King and Queen. Also, congratulations for Garden Grove Strawberry Festival Association. Thank you for your community service. On Saturday, August 8th, I have the honor to represent City of Garden Grove to attend the Gold Award of Liên đoàn Hướng đạo Lạc Việt. Also present City Garden Grove recognition plaque. And I proudly read their name: Brandon Thanh Trân, Carrie Ann Anh Thu Bùi, Caitlin Kiều Anh Huân, Kendra Hằng Lưu, Caitlin Nguyễn Phạm. Congratulations, Eagle Scout. Last but least, I would like to remind our residents about our summer recreation program. The Garden Grove Summer Parks and Recreation Program run through the end of August. Activities include youth sports, arts and crafts, fitness, activity classes, and other recreation programs at city facility and parks. So enjoy the activity until the end of August that our city will provide for you. That's all for me. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to give a good shout out there for JJ and Dr. Don, also the Garden Grove Strawberry Festival Association and everything they do. You know, I look at the volunteers in that group, you know, Steve Sanders and Andrea and how many decades have they given to this city, you know, to put the work in to make sure that can happen every year. And it's a legacy thing too, because I know like Steve Sanders, his son is now, you know, and Andrea's daughter is, you know, is involved now. And so it's so cool to see that. And, you know, so congratulations to them. Well-deserved kudos. Again, with the Roach Coach application, yeah, I'm real, it's a new world. It's a new world. Those food trucks aren't what they used to be. And, but we got to be mindful of we have some very struggling family-run restaurants. And, you know, it's just unfair. I think I got an email by mistake last week from staff where they were granting a food truck the okay to park in a private lot right in front of a taco restaurant. And I'm like, what? You know, I can't give you permission to go rob a bank. You know, one person can't, the city can't give you permission to break the law, basically. And so I thought that was very interesting. We got to protect our businesses, and we got to also support the food trucks. And I'm sure there's a nice fine line. I don't know if they should have to be 100 feet away, 500 feet away, whatever that might be. We'll have to come to a consensus on that. But, you know, we need to recognize, you know, we have existing businesses who actually are paying taxes to the city that have to pay overhead, rent, employees, you know, all the stuff that the food trucks don't necessarily have to pay. You know, granted, the food trucks do pay a county tax and they do get the sticker from the health department, but they don't have half of the overhead of a mom and pop actual in-house restaurant. So we need to protect them too. That's all I'm going to say on that. GKN, you know, I hear everyone, I hear their frustration, and I agree with them. I mean, I think we all agree with them. You know, and that's the sad part is, you know, everybody thinks the city has a magic wand or authority that we just don't have somehow. And, you know, there's a pesky little thing called the Constitution, and we got to follow that, okay? We can't just willy-nilly kick people out as much as we'd love to, all right? Doing something like that, all it does is bankrupt our city, and they win hundreds of millions in punitive from the city and bankrupt us, and then they reopen. That's all that does. That's what that looks like going down that path. Our city is not the richest city in the county, but we are one of the only cities in the black right now. Every other city is circling bankruptcy. We try to keep a tight management of our financial abilities. We have a great finance director who keeps us on par so we don't overspend. And even our black is not much. We're in the black. Every other city's in the red. We're, you know, So we're holding on. The last thing we want to do is bankrupt our city and then end up losing in court anyway. I get there's frustration that there's not enough information going out to people. We share those same frustrations. We're not given the information. The things we do know in some regards, we're not allowed to speak about because of legalities. There's, when things get into the courts, things become confidential. There's things that are going on, and we're not at liberty to be able to tell anybody this stuff, what's going on. We don't have any of the after action reports yet. As Councilwoman Aristagi said, you know, the OCFA one, they told me at max it takes 6 months to get it. Okay? We need one from the PD. Our city's gonna prepare one, but guess what? We need all the other ones before we can even start ours. Okay? We need the one from OSHA. We need the one from FEMA. We need the one from the DA's office. We need the county one. Okay? And all of those take time to prepare. And then when we get those, we gotta compare, make our after-action report, incorporating all these other ones, and then staff has to go through and what did we learn? What are the lessons learned? What were the failures? What were the successes? Is that going to happen by the end of the year? I am hopeful. I'm very hopeful, but it's not going to happen in 3 months. There's no new information coming out of this dais unless it's something that's not involved in the legal stuff that we're already embroiled in. Okay, we're limited in what we can say. And then we're also working within the actual powers of what the dais has. Okay? The dais, we're not what they call a charter city. We are a general law city. Okay? LA, all these other cities, they're charter cities. They have a lot more standing in court to do things. We don't. We actually have very limited authority of what we can do. That doesn't mean we're totally toothless. We do have some tricks up our sleeves, and we hope to get those results. But at the same time, when you're embroiled in those negotiations, you can't tell the opposition what your plans are, can you? If I'm at war and I'm going to invade another country, I don't tell that country, hey, I'm going to invade your beach at 8 o'clock from the west side. You don't do that. Because, and if we put that information out to the public, we're effectively doing that. Okay? You can't put the cart before the horse, and you can't, you know, there's a lot of things we'd love to say, what's going on. We can't. The things we can say, we will. Were we gone month of July? Yes. We were gone. We're always dark in one of the meetings in July for the last 30 years. There's nothing new. The other stuff, as Councilman Dovin talked about, we had some glitches with they had to get the system working for people to be able to call in and, you know, that kind of stuff. I mean, it is what it is. But staff was working every day. We were working every day trying to help the people. One of the things we all did, we all pitched in our own money, bought food, and distributed it to all the people affected that had to evacuate. Okay, we all personally, every one of us put the money in for that. Okay? Has GKN, I don't trust them. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't trust them. At this point, I have no trust with GKN right now. They promised us a community meeting. That has not happened. They promised to make things right by the people that got evacuated. That has mostly not happened. Yeah, they put a little token money out for some, less than 10% of the people to get a $500 gift card through that 211 phone number system and all that. That doesn't even scratch the tip of what they need to do. But we got to play our cards close to the chest, to use a poker analogy. Okay? We can't be communicating everything that we know as much as we'd love to, because it would make us look great in front of you guys right now, honestly. So, you know, you got to be careful when you're screaming for things, because sometimes you get what you ask for. And anyway, with that being said, no one's trying to go dark because we're afraid of hearing people upset about GKN. We're upset about it. We're more upset than you are. Yes, there is no MMA production going on in that facility now. And quite frankly, I'd be surprised if any MMA production starts before sometime next year. All right? Now, does that mean they're completely shut down? No. They do other things in that facility besides making canopies. All right? They do other things. So there is some other work going on right now that doesn't involve MMA. So again, my personal, I'd be highly, I'm highly skeptical that they would be able to open up and get any MMA on site before at least the first quarter of next year. So as Councilman Dovin said, there is kind of effectively a moratorium going on right now without a moratorium being done. So anyway, I do appreciate every one of you coming out here. I really do. I agree with 90% of everything you're saying here. I think we all do. And when we can divulge more information, we're going to be the first ones to do it. Believe me, we're going to be the first ones to do it. I met with the vice president of GKN last Friday. We had a long discussion, and I communicated almost verbatim everything you guys were telling me. I don't know if that helped rattle him to start getting this program going on the website or not. I'm not going to take responsibility for that, but I let him know we're disappointed and we've lost trust. We've definitely lost trust in the company, and that's the last thing you want to do, is lose the public trust when you're a business. So, with that being said, that's all I have.
Are you sure? I think this is obviously proof that we have been busy over the past month, and there's a lot of feelings and emotions and a lot of pent-up frustration, and so we mirror that, and it's very hard for us to not be able to share openly all the answers and not to have them, quite frankly. It's very difficult when things are so nuanced and so woven in litigation, and we're demanding these requests over and over and over again, and to not be able to get the information that we want in the timely manner that we want. It's hard. It's extremely frustrating, especially when we know people are still hurting. GKN obviously posted that they're bringing a restitution plan forward, and we await timely action. Not, I'm just going to post something on our update page and then we're going to sit on this for months. Timely means now, do it now, get it lifted now. The sooner the better, because as I said, people are still hurting, and we know that, we feel that, we hear that from the community, not just those of you that spoke tonight, but people reaching out to us. We know that there's families that are living paycheck to paycheck that probably couldn't make their rent, couldn't buy groceries, probably had a stomach ache wondering how they were going to buy school clothes and get their children ready for school. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible, and it's wrong. And we, as a council, feel a deep commitment to continue to pressure GKN to make everyone that was affected whole. I don't think one of us disagrees with that or doesn't feel that way. We need better communication, better transparency, more timely information, and we want our town hall. And it's extremely disappointing that we haven't had that yet. They had the month of July to do something, and now it's August, and here we are. So the clock is ticking, and we need more action and more communication, and we need it now. Part of that cancellation, as some of my colleagues mentioned, was due to the preparation for SB 707. It is not an easy feat to lift this new telephonic system that we have, but I want to thank our city clerk and her entire team, as well as our IT department and team, GGTV3 and all the staff within our city walls that helped to lift this and get it going. It took an incredible amount of work, and we were already kind of placed behind because obviously we had to deal with that incident. And so to get everything together and have some extra time during July was warranted and needed. And tonight we were able to see it really go off even better than I had expected. So again, thank you, City Clerk, and to our IT department and everyone that had a part to play in that. And so we'll have a greater opportunity for people to reach out to us through oral communication now via the phone as well. And finally, I just wanted to ask if there's an opportunity for an update from the county on the main branch library construction. I would appreciate an update for the community. That library is extremely important to students that go to school at Garden Grove High School and in the surrounding area. It was a place to do homework after school, maybe a safe place to be able to wait until parents get off work to pick them up. Without that location, and our other branches closed on Friday, I do think that it's becoming a burden. And so I would just like to see where things are at, and if we could maybe just get a sneak peek of what's to come, that would be appreciated. That's all I have. And
Madam Mayor, I got
yes.
one more thing I forgot
Sure.
to bring up. The police station across the street is nearing complete move-in. That's an awesome feat in and of itself. It took 30 years to make it happen, on time, under budget, but we want our park back. And so as soon as they move in, I'm hoping the city has plans to expedite demolition of the old station and giving our community our park back, okay? As quickly as possible. I don't want to see that sitting there a month or 2 months after they're moved in. We need to get that going right away. The public thought they lost their park. We had to explain to them, no, it's just going to get moved over a half a block. You'll get it back. It'll be a new, better park. But we need to make that happen in rapid succession from the move-in date of the PD station. So.
Okay, thank you. City Manager?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, and the general public that's still in the audience, and to the families at home. We hear you loud and clear of more information that you're requesting with GKN. There's been an extensive amount of discussion. There are limits to what I can and can't share with the council, and I will work closely with our city attorney to share what we can, and we'll go from there. And we'll take it to Councilmember Delvin. We'll one day at a time, we'll work through this together, and I do want the audience to be reassured. GKN hears from me regularly demanding in follow-up with our mayor and council requests for that town hall and direct communication with our community and a forum in which they can share their concerns and receive some additional feedback. So I will continue to ensure that that gets scheduled as soon as we can. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. City Attorney, we had closed session earlier this evening. Anything to report out?
Yeah, Mayor, we did have 4 items in closed session, and there is no reportable action of any of the items. Thank you.
Thank you, and this meeting's adjourned.